So welcome everybody. Wow, good timing.
I mean, they're not going to find the guy.
No, but the midday. You know what? This midday long that you guys. Well, I mean, obviously it's the midday show that you guys put it on. Yeah, I don't know exactly, Joe, where you guys got out, but the ES bounced for the mid. You might have just taken the top off. To be honest, this is VWAP on the ES. I mean, obviously you guys are looking at the SPY, but that's a reversal candle on this consolidation. Now you're headed back lower. I say that because I got shaken out of Apple like I was insert random defender trying to bring down Josh Allen when he's running like mad. So something like 606 on the SPY. So let me just go, because you guys were looking at the SPY, right? So I was just pulling up the ES load. Oh, look at the out. Wow. Let's give it this, because that was almost perfect. About as perfect as you're going to get. So nice little bounce play. I don't know exactly the time you guys got into it, but the market losing VWAP, starting to come right back in to the downside here. And the one thing I had short is gone, and I don't know if I'm going to get back into advanced micro devices. The market almost 2/3% to the downside. AMD down 5 points today. Yeah, not a very good day for AMD. A lot of the crypto names, we lost 100,000 again.
Oh God,
that's like, I don't know. Like I said this morning, you can count the amount of times we lost 100,000 if you really feel like it. But there's been many tests. But this is what IBIT looks like. It's about 97.5 where the bottom is, which is the current low. So maybe we get some kind of a bounce there. Coinbase is having an ugly day. Mara is not having a good day. Riot had an offering, so obviously they're not having a good day either. Pretty crazy moves. And then the Chinese ADRs have been ham. As a quick rebound, they might not do much in the middle of the day here or in the afternoon, but NEO's at VWAP up 13%. Alibaba is at the high, again 94. Quadruple top on Alibaba, up 9%.
Wow,
and just an unbelievable day for them. I'm sure we could point out a bunch of, you could pull up KWeb, whatever you want, but strong moves in China. But the market starting to come back in. Even the strong names are starting to catch a little bit of a curl, let's just say, back to the downside. That was such a great out, VWAP on the SPY.
Oh, yeah. Man. Yeah, I remember when we were trading in sim mode, we were just getting all these great outs, these great fills and everything like that, right? I mean, it's just, yeah, the market is a tough thing. All right, we were just long Tesla. We had a great move back off 185, man, all the way up to 387 and change. Tops out at 387.70. Now you're pulling back also in Tesla. So watch out for this one. I had a stop. I mean, we're lighter and lighter on this. I was debating changing the stop. This is what happened to us last time. So I have it breaking through 385. So if we break through 385 right now, we will get out of that. That's exactly where we're in. So I don't know. I don't know if that's enough. I'm going to stretch this down to 384. Try to maybe average something back in and around here. That 200 period is 383 and change. All right, we'll figure this out on Tesla. I don't know. I was sort of hoping that the market wasn't going to make this kind of a move straight off the VWAP right there, coming right back in. Too bad. Okay. All right. So we're long Tesla. And by the way, I mean, we're still short. This is still $2.5 in the money. I haven't done anything since. Just watching out for this. Take it out. But now you're still falling back in. Should have easily reloaded that, hindsight. And then we're still short NVIDIA. So what we have now is long Tesla. So we're $1 in the money long Tesla. We're 2.5 on SMH and $1 flat. It's funny. We're $1 short on NVIDIA and $1 long on Tesla right now. So splitting hairs with these two names. But it just goes to show you, like, we're making money on both those positions, and they're sort of oppo, right? Meaning that we like Tesla long to begin with, although it did fall back in. But we've always liked NVIDIA short. So, all right, a couple more bullets to fire here, especially with Tesla. Tesla's my largest position, so watch out here.
Well, welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every afternoon. Neil and Sean, ready to go, baby. Ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. So make sure to join Joe and I during the How to Trade Midday show and get into that chat. And there's 3 polls, one every hour, so you will never have enough of your say every day. All right, guys, let's have a look at the major averages to start. This is a look at the triple Qs, the worst of the 4 major averages right now, down about 0.75%, followed by the ES down about 0.42. The Dow likewise in negative territory, down 0.26, and the Russ faring better than all of them, but still in negative territory, down about 0.14%. All right, let's have a look at the first ticker as decided by you, TSLA, Tesla. Having a bit of a tough day today, down about 0.68, but it did have this positive catalyst that sent it up in the pre-market. Looks like they may be pricing in their Model Q, the smaller version of the Model 3. Previously, we were referring to it as the Model 2, below $30,000 and even $25,000 if the federal EV tax credit remains in place. We're talking about a range of possibly around 500 kilometers, guys, and they want to have it ready for delivery in early or mid-2025, guys, so that's not that far from now.
Mid-2020.
Like it's a stone's throw away. It's an aggressive.
2025.
It's aggressive, man. Like we're at the end of the year. Like
that's like you haven't even planned your vacation. Like that's not even mid-2025.
It's just like I don't know. Like we've seen this before. Like how many times has there been an aggressive timeline that we hear out of Elon, or we hear out of Tesla in a general sense, and then it gets pushed back. That said, hey, I like where they're going with this. If they can pull it off in that time frame, I think the stock, it's going to rocket. I don't necessarily know if the small form is the biggest reason to be a Tesla shareholder. I think automation and I think optimists are probably just as big stories. Obviously, solar, I think, is a massive deal for them. There's a lot of reasons to like Tesla. That said, this was a typical type of retracement type day for Tesla. I mean, 400 was a good break. Look, it was a clean break. It broke 400 and it was right to 405. Like you couldn't have lost on the breakout trade unless you just elected not to cover anything. If you decided not to take any profit at any point, then that's the only way I think you could have lost on that trade. Tried to hold pre-market lows. Once it went into gap fill mode, we talked about this in the lesson of the day. Like there were levels I liked trading it off of, but my note this morning, I was like, if it cannot hold green, I don't want to fight it. And that was a big gap into where the program buying started on Friday, which was right around the high 370 area. I did have one reversion trade, like 80 to 82 and a half, like kind of in here. I actually got like just around 81s, just underneath 81s, into like just underneath 83s, and then walked away. I still think I don't want to fight it at this point at the 390, and I elected to pivot over to Rivian. I think a lot of times when this happens and I wanted to look for a strong play, I just went over to Rivian, which has been holding VWAP pretty decently. I've gotten out a couple times when it loses VWAP, but then it holds it, and I just jump right back in. Pretty much the same price 3 times, and it's strong, Lucid's strong. I just like to see this back above the 390. I think if Tesla closes green today, all systems go to get that all-time high this week. But I want to see it close above that 3. It's 389.22. If it closes green, I think we get the all-time high this week.
Just people talking about SoundHound there. Yeah, still $15, trying to break $15. All right, so I'll just talk. I mean, we have the same. Look, Tesla was pretty big off the open, right? I mean, we had sort of averaged it in back to the 50 period. So we did a little bit different. We were able to, again, we were long into that break and didn't have to punch anything. And it was good. I mean, getting 50 cent was fine because by the time you blinked, it was at 401.50, 402.50. We have our outs here at 404.50. So we have some great plays. I mean, our initial long there is 98, then 99. And I just played it a little bit differently, making sure that I was getting long before that break. Again, that's risky because you can always get stopped out before the break actually happened. We're lucky enough to not have that happen to us. And then look at this, boom, right there. It came right back in, and somehow we were able to buy that bottom. We never wound up losing at all until it broke that last time, right there at 10:30 or so, when we finally broke that day's low, and then it started to go. So I'm just as confident as before. Like, when you break pre-market lows, we know we don't want to be in those stocks. So I feel like confident and everything about all of these trades. And then finally, we took down 385 again, breaking through the 200 period moving average. I wasn't here or I was here, but I wasn't noticing it, I guess, until after it broke. So I still think the best long would have been around 84.50. I waited for 85 because I did wind up missing it as it was starting to ramp through. And then we punched to 85 longs. And again, we just took some out right now at 86.70, 86.50. So another nice win for us as we just start to pad it up. Number one stock today will be SMH, but number two, of course, as Neil and I both hit it, will be Tesla. So despite losing on Tesla, we've made it all back and a little bit less. So our best spot was early on Tesla because we had the long. And then since then, we've kind of given a little bit back here on TSLA. So yeah, fun stock, but not overly fun today. Could have been better if it just kept on going.
Oracle is up 82% year to date, guys, in the report after the bell today. Analysts expecting earnings per share to come in at $1.48, up from $1.34 last time around, and revenue to increase to $14.12 billion, up from $12.94 a year ago on the quarter. Let's have a look at what the street is expecting in terms of volatility. We're expecting a move of plus or minus 9%. Last time around, though, we exceeded that. We got to 11.4% to the upside, making Larry Ellison the third richest man in the world. And these guys do report, guys, I believe at 4:05 here, according to Earnings Whispers.
You would be correct about that. We are expecting them at 4:05. Look, Oracle's, it's trading at like 48 times PE. So it's a little pricey.
Oh,
yeah,
God.
at least, yeah, it gets a little, you know what, let me double check.
That makes sense.
No, I checked it off one source. You know what, hold on, I have my FinViz up. Let's just make sure we get two sources on that. I never want to say anything incorrectly, but FinViz has 49. So one says 48, one says 49. Forward PE is 27. That's a little bit more reasonable. But I think when the forward's at 27 and the current's at 49, like it's important that they actually register a beat when you're at all-time highs. And again, there was a bit of a reversal here. And when I say a few stocks have this pattern. Like they attempted a breakout, and arguably, if you had this stock breaking out the highs in the pre-market, it's not like it's all bad. Like it went 96 to 98. So you probably had a chance to win on that trade. But when it fell, it just filled the entire gap, went red, stayed red, and is continuing to trend down. It looks really bad, but then you remember the context of it failing the fresh high and just being a little bit pricey. So there's probably some risk off going into earnings. Not a stock that I particularly would want to touch here in the afternoon unless there was some kind of a huge, like if it did a really big flush down into Friday lows, maybe look for a mean reversion or maybe it sets up like a VWAP trade, I'd be more inclined to stay away. But it can be good when you get some pressure relieved at least before earnings. So it's a decent amount of volume failing that high on Oracle, but it's that, yeah, I mean, the forward PE is much more reasonable. So if they beat expectations, suddenly you're not looking at that expensive of a stock. But again, that's if they beat expectations at 4:05. Tune in because we'll be able to see it live. These guys are going to be a mover. Mongo's going to be a mover as well. So it should be a fun aftermarket show.
Yeah, implied move right now with them is 13%, which is huge. Mongo 9, C3.AI.
Oh, C3. That's
C3. No, but C3 has at least 7 apparently.
No,
how is that
what?
possible?
That doesn't make any sense. C3.AI only moving 7%.
Previous move less than 1. Adara is updating those numbers, so those might have been incorrect. Okay, but I just wanted to show you back here, Oracle has had opportunities to dump, right? I mean, it doesn't necessarily just go one way. We've seen Oracle, it's gapped higher here. The important thing here from eSignal is just look at the weekly chart right now for Oracle. 185, like it's slowly starting to do this on the weekly. So really big consolidation here, looking to break higher. I think it does, man. I mean, this is all-time highs for Oracle. The reason why I want to look at it a little longer, I was long down here in this stuff. That's why when Neil said 48, 49, I was like, yeah, you know, it probably is because almost a double up, and I probably would have bought. Like I like to buy tech names if they're ever in the low 20s on a PE basis, and Oracle was just a name that I've got into pretty light in that space. I was actually telling Neil that like after all these stocks, just keep like Palantir will get to it. No, we will not. How did Palantir not make the list for a stock that was up 8% in the pre-market, now down 5%? Yeah. But what I was getting at here with some of these names is that you have, in order to sell them, it's like you sell and then you're like, why did I do that? So I was just sort of thinking that because I've been getting some out on some of these names like a Tesla, Oracle, even Apple. I mean, I haven't sold any up here, but maybe I could. Like I have all these stocks. At some point, it's like you have to ring the register a little bit. So I was thinking, instead of worrying about getting out of my positions now, I'm just maybe going to just buy indexes as we go. And the NASDAQ being down almost 1%, that might be one of the first ones. But again, I'm looking at the diamonds, DIA. To buy. I first started buying a little bit of this, and I'm very low on the ETFs. I mentioned that for sure. We started buying this a long time ago, and I like it because the 30 top stocks, I really like those 30 stocks. I mean, obviously got hit with UNH being in there and Intel and whatnot, but I really like, is Intel still in the Dow? Or no, it got booted out for NVIDIA, right?
Bye-bye.
Yeah, so bye-bye. So there you go. So NVIDIA coming into the Dow. So yeah, even more reason to maybe like this as the next thing for myself to buy. And you also get financials in there as well. So yeah, that's kind of my plan. I just want to start to buy some of these now, hold on to all the equity that I have, and just start to layer into either TLTs, things like that, start to get a little diversified. But maybe even gold.
Diversify these.
Gold. By the way, gold is up today, by the way, for everybody. Like, what's up to Peter Schiff and company? Gold up today, Bitcoin down.
It's not down that much.
Bitcoin's not down. Well, I mean, you know, we can't trade over the weekend, right? We don't even, do we have IBIT on there? We have Coinbase, but you could see here IBIT down 4%. So like that's a decent move, right? I mean, most people will be invested. If we're talking about Bitcoin itself, 97.5, I mean, look, if you push the buy button at 103, 104, you're out of the money a little bit. I mean, other than that, most people are going to be up. But right now, GLD, 1% up and heading down actually right now. So a nice little trend to the downside. We'll have to maybe watch out for the US dollar. All right, Sharif is getting, is it you? Yeah, all right, Neil.
Actually, what you can also do is check out Trade the Pool, allowing stock traders like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program. For a one-time fee of just $300, you'll receive $80,000 in buying power and the chance to become a funded trader. Hit a profit target of just 4% and you'll start trading with the company's capital. Get funded faster and easier with the new conditions designed for success. And the best part, the profit split has now been upgraded to a generous 70%, so you keep more of what you earn. Don't wait, check it out now and see how Trade the Pool can help you trade bigger and better. Scan that QR code, check the link in the description.
Scan it up.
And maybe you can trade some Apple, which we'll talk next.
People don't want to trade Apple.
Nah.
Shout out to Trade the Pool. All right, guys, yeah, great segue there. Apple up next over here, Ram. And there was no catalyst specific to Apple today, but this tidbit did come in during the midday. T-Mobile looking like they're saying that the upgrade rate is pretty low. They didn't specify specifically for the iPhone. Speaking about the upgrade cycle in general, they did also say that their Q4 is back and loaded, and investors should be cautious as there's a risk of a lot of risk at the back half. It sent Apple momentarily down, guys, but still nearer the highs than the lows.
All right, so Apple, I was caught in the same sort of a trade there with Sharif, as we just mentioned, that T-Mobile trade. Look, we had T-Mobile came out and said that they'd have some back-end problems. Now that I say that out loud, it just seems funny. But no, on the back end of the second year here of 2025, so we all sort of thought that that would mean maybe that they had seen some weakness. Like, anytime you get a chance to like figure out and like be the smart guy on Apple, you always try to do it, right? But I mean, that created this largest sell candle right there in the whoopsies. It doesn't even look like, you can't even see it there. It doesn't even look like anything when you zoom back out, but it did create this little bit of a sell side. And then once it broke through, I mean, naturally, I was like, giddy up, you know? I thought this was going to potentially start to move down. The market was already at its highs, but again, you don't want to short a name that's up on the day and at all-time highs and. So as we go, we have to continue to look now at Apple. So I still like the stock up 1.4%. I mean, we had thought that maybe this was, and we had talked about this with Sharif as well, maybe some doji action here where you finally started to slow down, saw a little bit of some red action, but then today it's a big FU to that idea with that middle finger candle. But it's just like boom right there to the upside, right? And so there it is. It's like, I don't know, it kind of looks like a middle finger, like here's a hand clenched and then boom, right there. So I don't know, you know, the market is definitely heated. We've talked about that over and over numerous times here on the show. So I would just say, you know, get some profits if this is your game. But I mean, congratulations, Apple continues to work. And I mean, I also think that this super cycle, you know, you're going to get good talks here heading into Christmas. People are really loving the AirPods, those AirPods. And you talked about why you like the watch there for health for your family.
I'll bang a tape.
And the same thing is,
everyone should have.
Yeah, exactly. And the same thing is for those little AirPods. You can now test, and again, whatever. It's for
it's a hearing aid.
Hearing aids,
Yeah.
but it's not like a hearing aid. I think it's more for testing the.
I thought
if there's any issues in there, you can wear it as a hearing aid.
It acts as a hearing aid.
What?
As far as I know, it acts as a hearing aid.
Okay, because Marissa put hers in and goes, look, I just selected this adaptive hearing, and she goes, now the only thing I can hear is voices. Like, she's like, I can hear everything right now. So I'm like, oh, shit, I better watch out if she has these things in her ears. Like,
that's what I'm
saying.
saying.
Is that? I can't say stuff under my breath.
No, it is.
But yeah, like, okay.
Apple's winning.
I always wanted to be a spy. Like, you play those games with your kids, like, hey, what do you want to be? And, Barron right now wants to become a police officer. So I'm like, hey, look, very, very, it's very great of him to say that. But as a father, I don't want my kid to be a police officer only because of the risk.
We never want our kids.
I think it's the word I'm looking for is like commendable, like a very honorary. And he said he wants to be because he likes to help. He wants to do that. So I say, that's great.
That's awesome.
But I don't want him. Man. So anyways, I was like, oh, I used to want to be, when you had those
you want smart people like that to be
gadget and shit. Like, yeah, like you get those telescopes that used to go around the corner. It was like a Fisher Price.
I know exactly.
Yeah, it was like
I know exactly what you're talking about. The exact one.
Yeah, it was almost So we used to have those things too. And I remember getting like a little thing that you would attach. It never worked, but just like a magnifying thing that you put in your ear, and it's like pretending like you're hearing stuff.
I love that stuff.
Anyways,
but
now I just see dead people.
I wouldn't want to be a spy. Because one thing you always see, like if you have that type of a job, like you can't have like a normal family life. And that's sort of that's the hard thing. I think that's the reason why, like, I have all the respect in the world for people that are in service.
100%.
Like, all the respect in the world. And I'm glad there are, that's what I'm saying. I'm glad there are people in that world willing to make that sacrifice, that I'm like the first. I'm not super brave. And it's a hard road to go down, but I mean, ultimately, I think it's pretty cool. But just to take it back to Apple wins. They do everything right. Shouldn't have shorted it, but when I did, should have held it. It was just, I got cute too, because we had the long double, it was a triple top. Here, I'll show you a 15-minute, because this is actually a triple top break, technically, on Apple. Like Thursday, Friday, and then today, breaking out. So when it broke 245, it was breaking a triple top. That's an obvious long break, but it did that news came out that Sean was mentioning, and then it was like I decided to revert the reversion, which is, I don't know, like it's an Obi saying, and now I find myself saying it and looking for it too, where you have the move down on an upward trending stock, it then puts in a trend line back into resistance, breaks trend, goes to go short it, which it's questionable because it's a strong stock, but then it was working, and then I trailed out at break even, which was my best entry, which is a bad decision, and now it looks like it's coming back in. So I got a bit cute. If you'd stuck with the long, you'd be buying dips into here. But yeah, as long as it's going to close at another fresh high. That's the other thing. On a weekday for the market, I think the important thing to keep in mind here for Apple is it's going to, as long as nothing crazy happens, it's going to close at a high, and look at the rejection candle. That doesn't look to me like something that is weak. It looks to me like a stock which is making a new breakout. So it feels like a new breakout there on Apple, and I'm going to just juxtapose that with, you look at what was Meta's response today. Meta, which was also trying to break out, big pullback, now down 2%. I think Amazon is another good example of something that is holding on to the highs and likely to, knock on wood, to close with another fresh high here on Amazon. So I think you got to start putting some of these into buckets, and clearly it's in a strong bucket. The name we're about to talk about is in the other.
Oh yeah, tough day definitely today, 7.5%, and continuing to bleed here for Coinbase, despite the fact that it had multiple good headlines. Looks like Barclays maintaining their equal weight on Coinbase and raising the price target to $355. Separately, there was this article by Benzinga detecting unusual options activity for Coinbase to the bullish side. So good look there. We'll have to wait though, guys, because yeah, it's selling off aggressively here. With Bitcoin also down about 2.5% on the day.
as you said, Bitcoin down 2.5%, although it's a 24-hour market, so it's all relative. That said, when you compare, if you're comparing apples to, I guess this would be oranges in this case, but if you're comparing it to Coinbase, it is good because it gives you an idea of from the point at which Coinbase closed, Bitcoin's down 2.5, it's down 3x that, which we know that's the way that this works. The good news for Coinbase, there's always a silver lining. I'm going to point it out now. The major area that it just broke out from, which is about 215 in here. So there's your resistance. It turned into support twice, including last week. It's double bottomed off that level. So it's got a nice little spot where if things can calm down and you do regain 100,000, then you've got a good ramp job to go from here on coin. Selfishly, wish it had gone down 10% so it could be SSR tomorrow, but it's not. I just feel if we lose this 315 area, then you're backing off until it retests like 290, 300 there on Coinbase. This isn't the one that I traded in adjacent to this move. I decided to trade Mara to the south side instead of Coinbase. And the only good news I got out of Mara, I mean, don't ask me why Mara is catching this kind of a bid. Bitcoin's not really doing anything, but it is. So it doesn't have to make sense. What I would say is it's holding on to the 24 level for Mara. Like I just shorted at 24.5, trailed out at 24. It looks like this is going to be the strong one. But while I wouldn't necessarily go for the long in Coinbase, I would just point out of names that got shellacked today in the space, Mara is looking pretty strong on a rebound. It's got a short float in there, and I see Balan Wood, hopefully I got your name right there. Mara is printing for you, so you probably have a long somewhere out in front of that bottom at 24. I mean, VWAP in 25 is obviously going to be a nice little interesting target. There was some resistance right here at 24.75 if you're watching it. But just to go back to coin, like coin, nice bounce, but it's not doing anything now, whereas you're actually getting a move over there in Mara. I feel like if we do make a run back to 100,000 this afternoon, I'd probably go try trade the one that's showing more strength.
All right. So yeah, we talked a little bit about some of these Bitcoins earlier on in the day, and I was like, hey man, like what I would be trading, what is that coin or ConL there? And we had looked at, I mean, I was just listening to what Neil was saying there. We were looking at those levels this morning, but unfortunately didn't really get back up there. We had sort of talked about looking at where we were on Friday, coming back in. Now, of course, didn't get up to that 244. We basically just started the day and just kept on going to the downside. Now it looks like 314 might be like a dip buy opportunity now. That we wait there for Coinbase. But at the end of the day, I don't know, pretty nasty overall. I mean, we looked at IBIT. I always thought that buying the 200 period was a good idea, and I still think it is on all of these names. The 200 period is now, we're underneath it. So I'd like to see, it's kind of like this Tesla trade that now is starting to work out for me, okay, but it didn't really start that way. And what I was talking about was Tesla taking that break once we started to get going a bit. So for me, you're kind of seeing a nice base rate now on the coins, on Bitcoin, on whatever you're looking at. I mean, I haven't looked at Ethereum the same way, but it looks like this 55.50 or so on IBIT is holding. So for me, I almost think, look, if 55.50 is going to hold, you never want to be like the last one left holding the bag or anything like that. But you could try the long. If it breaks this, then get out. Or, as we've sat here and seen many times, the momentum change in crypto, you can just wait for it to take this out. So I actually like this play a little bit better, 56 break. Or the problem is if you take the 200 period, you just run into all this, which is like 10 or 15 cents. And then you're like, was it really worth that trade? So I'd rather it have this garbage in the middle, which it's doing right now. Either you get a little more patient and you wait about 20 more cents and buy that dip, or you wait 30 more cents and buy the break. So I'm going to try to do that, be patient here, and give it a minute with IBIT. So that's my take there. 56 break long is something that I'll probably take here if that does happen in the next hour or so.
NVIDIA, last one here on the rundown. Tough day for NVIDIA and AMD and some of these other semiconductor names down here, 2 2/3 on the back of this report by Reuters that China's market regulator looking at investigating NVIDIA for the acquisition of one of its companies there and violating the anti-monopoly laws in China. Separately, we've heard, grumblings coming out of China with respect to acquiring American-made chips and how they could be a national security threat. We're also keeping an eye on the ban, the outright ban of critical minerals for the manufacturer of semiconductor names, guys. So the tit for tat exchange continues between here east and west. Nvidia down 2 2/3.
NVIDIA, yeah. So look, we have NVIDIA today. We have it right now. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I was just like, whatever happened earlier happened earlier. I mean, we already have it on the sticky note. We have it. We talked about 140 short. We like the trade. It's now $1.50 in the money. Great, good for me. But at the end of the day, we don't have that reload right there at 140. We should have had that. A little silly that we don't. So I was a little not pleased, to say the least, with that performance there. Should have reshorted it once we got back into that level. We were long Tesla, and we kind of, or long something, I don't know. I was just like, yeah, maybe we're going to break, and I didn't take the short again. So anyways, with that negative catalyst, is exactly what you're looking for. It's the only short that we had written down on here today was to short NVIDIA. I wish we had written down short Palantir, but we didn't. So short NVIDIA. It was right, and it continues to be right. So we have another bullet to fire, but we'll give it another second. And if anything, we don't have this on here, but the number one trade of the day, and it's a slapper. It's SMH. I mean, we hit this name real aggressive, way too much. Like, I actually, in hindsight, probably had too many shares. And it was just, I liked the level up there. We wanted to be short. It came right into here. Like, this is some of the stuff that we're doing. We're supporting resistance, plus we try to play momentum a little bit. Yeah. Anyways, good move down there for SMH. I just say you stay the course. And, sometimes it's good to be lucky to be good, all those kind of sayings. At the same time, you got to play. I hear Joe sometimes talk about this, Neil does, we all do, but it's like, it's not the theory, but the sector. Like, you want to trade the idea. You want to see it through. You don't necessarily just want to, get short on NVIDIA. Then, oh my God, like, it went up 20 cents, I'm out of it, right? Like, that's a move that I've done many times before. But for this SMH, I wanted to see if we could get this push back down. And thankfully, it did make that move into VWAP. So we stayed with that sort of theme. Sorry, that was what I was looking for, theme. We stayed on the theme of shorting chip names. And those are the only two shorts that we have today, SMH and NVIDIA. And, they're my top two stocks. So, yeah, that's what, or sorry, I guess Tesla's a top stock. But Tesla's ripping now, by the way, with the market going down.
I showed it Mara later, but it wasn't, like, Mara wasn't part of the action plan this morning. It just died and then looked for a continuation. The only mistake, like, I liked AMD short more than I liked NVIDIA. I thought both of them looked relatively weak. They had the same story. I just felt like AMD was and has been a little bit weaker. But it was at the moment where, right in here, where you held or broke trend on NVIDIA, just about 11:20 or so, just a little bit before that. It broke trend. I put a trail on AMD and got out, thinking, okay, well, AMD is going to do what NVIDIA did. NVIDIA went all the way back to the high. AMD didn't get to VWAP. So I missed probably a golden opportunity to get into, to reload in AMD. Now, it's got a very long trend the entire day, which I think is going to be coming into play this afternoon. Like, if it can revert it, it probably gets to VWAP. But I'm going to have this one up and maybe look for short the pop into trend resistance, I suppose, at like 131.5 looks like a level. And if we break and close above, look for the reversal play. But it's just been nasty for these chip names. Although the difference, I think, is at least NVIDIA theoretically has big support at 130. The 50 period, again, for another time is held, like it's wicked, and then held a 50 period on the daily. And when it comes to AMD, I actually think, now that AMD did that little bit of a, bounce off support in the channel, test the channel top, try to break it out, it didn't. You're back underneath this channel to the downside, and on a collision course, I think with either the bottom of the channel or at least $125, somewhere down in here. The last line of support is where we are right now, and just broke that 132 area. So I think you're headed down into the 120 to 125 range here on advanced micro devices. Rivian Millionaire, shout out to you. But yeah, UNH is up today. I'm glad they're up. I'm glad they've identified and hopefully got the right person It's a little bit.
They don't have the right person.
No, it's like again. I'm trying not to play conspiracy theorist, but it doesn't make any sense.
They don't.
Why would you have literal documentation on you that's like, I hate the healthcare sector? Like, it's not usually making a lot of sense. That said, the stock was probably going to get a bounce at some point, regardless. And where did it bounce? Nobody should be shocked. Remember last week we were pointing. Look at $550 on UNH. Okay. So where did it bounce? $550. Go up on your daily chart, closed just underneath it, and now you're breaking right away from the same price. The only thing I'm in is this VWAP trade on Rivian that keeps on retesting. The downside is you're making lower highs into a wedge. So what needs to happen, well, it's already made a wedge here. What needs to happen for Rivian with all these lower highs is eventually you bounce off VWAP and then break this channel up, which is what we're trying to hold into. Like, I'd rather be adding at this point down underneath support at maybe like a 440, or we actually get a break of trend and then we can head to $15. So it's been a relatively strong one, and I know SOUN is going to be on watch. Oh, AMD doesn't want to pop to get us to the top of that trend at 131.5. It just continues to fall. Down 5.5 points. The chips are looking pretty ugly. I'll say this much. The simple fact that Intel's not going down today, that's a pretty good sign. You know, if you're looking for a bottom on this, it's deciding to hold right in around 20, 21 bucks today. Nice little consolidation. This is with the market weak, the market down, and the chips actually being the weakest of the tech names. Intel's dead flat. So when you have a stock which has been just bleed central, this is now technically 2 sessions, but I'd call it 3. Look at the bottom on Intel. I'm starting to look long on this thing off of this 20.5 level. And if not just breaking, like if this breaks 21.25, looks like a nice long to me for Intel. Maybe doesn't have a catalyst with it today, but if we're talking about the chips, hey, if it's not going down, eventually, usually a stock's going to break out.
So just real quick, yeah, what was I looking at? Okay, hold on a second. I want to get out of, those are all bids. Okay, we don't need that trade. Okay, just putting some bids out here to make sure we're out. All right, so just SMH, I just posted an update on it. Thanks, Bears versus Bulls. Just posted that here. Another out right at the exact same level as before, man, 246.30. We just got another out at that exact same level, so that's a banger right there. I said Tesla was ripping. It wasn't actually ripping, I guess. But, you know, when he went to 385, then it's up here at 386, almost 387, that $2 move upside got us out more. So we are now almost, we're getting closer and closer to being flat right now on Tesla. So watch out for that one as that comes out here. I saw some people in the chat talk about this. And unfortunately, yeah, man, I have reached out to Michael, and we do have a little bit of a sad news here. I think he'll still be on the after hours show today, but yeah, no longer with Trade Ideas. So you guys can message him or whatever. I've already messaged him. It's all good. So, you know, he's fine with us discussing this. But yeah, I got fired. What's next? So he is actually planning on some new things. So we'll continue, you know, talking with Michael Noss and having him on and supporting him and all that kind of stuff. So we say thank you for all that. And no longer affiliated with Trade Ideas is Mr. Noss. So we'll, we still have our Trade Ideas.
Always on the...
We still have our... yeah, I know, exactly, Ramin. We still have our Trade Ideas affiliated there until... here's our, hello, Trade... Oh, now I'm fired? Oh, okay. No, but it's not... No, Ramin's like, it's awkward. It's not that awkward at all. It's completely fun.
Ramin, chill, Winston.
Unity. This is the program that we use. Look, here, I put it on here.
Oh, you're going to close Unity?
Log out. There we go. All right. No more Ramin in my ear.
Yeah, wait till Unity fails and you try to log back in. Then who's laughing? I'm just saying. No.
Anyways, Michael Noss, if you're looking for some employment, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I mean, I know he's...
By the way, the Unity that we use for the sound system has nothing to do with...
Oh, yeah,
Unity.
it's not Unity.
It's not Unity. So obviously, it's not Unity software, the stock that we trade.
It's actually client. I don't know.
It's actually apparently very popular for like they use it as a sound system.
I mean, I won't be using it anymore, but it was good at the time. So something just kept on bothering me in my ear. I don't know what it was.
It's always
a little bit of a fluttering there.
I feel like, okay, I want to talk about Palantir because Palantir caught a nice bid off of $71. And I feel as if we're looking back, obviously Palantir should have been a short. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts, and one of these days I'll remember the rest of that saying. Or maybe that's the entirety of the saying, and that's why I don't remember it. No, this is a huge gap fill on Palantir, which was either holding 71. I tried it at 72. That was a good bounce play. So Palantir, a couple of bounces worked. Ended up like 3 for 5 on bounce plays in Palantir, which, it's solid, but obviously the short was better. 71 and 70. I don't really want to look any further than
Look at
that.
the market.
I think it's about to test back down. I think it's about to test down lower as it's starting to roll over. And my first gut is if we do see a retest to 71 or even 70, look for some kind of a bounce play. This AMD doesn't seem to want to get me in whatsoever. Yeah, it just doesn't feel like it wants to get it. But Mara...
The problem is this market.
Mara's curling. Bitcoin's starting to come back into the downside. Do I want Mara off resistance, 2480?
Yes.
This short worked last time. It turned at 2480. First bounce, shorted 24.5, and that's where I got into it. So that's probably what I'm going to look for there. I did see a question about any small cappers that were going, and there's this LDTC letter check.
Letterkenny?
It's spelled like LEDDAR, however you want to pronounce that.
LIDAR.
But it's an E, not an I. So it's like
LIDAR.
LIDAR?
Yeah.
Anyways, up 400%. It halted up,
Sure, LIDAR.
then halted down, and is now just trying to hold on to VWAP. So volume pretty good. It's done 260 million shares, but it's just had a halt up, failing the high of the day break, and then coming back into a halt down. So this looks at least a little bit interesting. It puts another higher low. It's got a nice little double top in here that you could see take $2. But it's like a day one play in there. So this is worth watching. I haven't seen anything else all that crazy on the small caps, but always have the halt scanner up and then some scans to see what's actually making high of the day moves, that kind of thing. We have our ear to the ground to make sure we don't miss out on anything crazy. But if you guys see anything moving on small caps, you can let us know as well. But that's the only one that crossed my radar. The only stock that's halted, I think, since 2 o'clock is that LDTC. So looking for the consolidation off Mara, maybe get short back into the 24.75 level.
I had Ramin FOMO, so I just turned it back on because
of course, you never want to.
You don't never want to miss whatever she's going to be saying there. All right, so somebody got an ad read. Okay, see, I almost got it. Where? To me?
Well, I didn't hear
50
it.
seconds.
So. 40 seconds.
All right, 40 seconds. All right. All right. So just real quickly, NVIDIA, SMH, Tesla. So we're just in the same positions. Let's go over some more. I looked at Netflix earlier this morning and I was like, huh? Where are we going on NFLX? It's down 3% today. I don't remember the last time we had a red day. Oh yeah, checks notes. November 25th. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So finally, it looks like some of the tides might be turning on a few of these Mag 7. Not this is Mag 7. Is Netflix, I don't think it was initially one of the Mag 7s.
It is Canadian.
But I feel like it definitely should be now if it is the case. All right, there's Firefly right there. We do have revolutionizing brain health. Firefly Neuroscience is revolutionizing brain health with cutting-edge brain network analytics powered by the world's most comprehensive EEG database. This technology provides precise insights for treating cognitive disorders such as Alzheimer's and Parkinson's, as well as traumatic brain injuries like concussions. With FDA 510K clearance and CEO Mark approval, Firefly is paving the way for a future where brain health is clear, accessible, and personalized. Click on no QR code, but definitely check the link in the description to find out more about Firefly. And just check them out. Firefly, of course, revolutionizing brain health. And again, we've had them on here a couple of times. They had that deal. Can't remember the company now, but there was one that was going crazy there, and FFIE was right behind. Bright Minds. So AIIF there on the CSE. So go check them out. Firefly, of course. So all right, let's go. Yeah, Bright Minds. So good one there. Another runner. Those names can definitely go. We'll check it out in a second. But Netflix, I want to finish that train of thought. You are pulling back in here into the 200 period. I just wanted to show you, this is the 200 period on the 20-minute chart is just, you know, I don't, like, it's kind of been riding it there. You did have a dip down, so it's obviously it's not going to be 100% great. But if you are looking, we did bounce clean off of that this morning at 903. So again, a pretty big psychological level of $900 coming into play here for Netflix. So I would just say if you lose that, watch out, man. I mean, I would say right now it looks like you have some support, 905, 906. Nothing wrong with trying to buy that for a little bit of a scalp. You do still need $5 to come in on that right now. So I don't know if that's going to happen, but I do like that 905, 906 area for Netflix.
I like 905.
Just because the Raptors 905, just in case it does bounce off of there. So that would be something.
I got a great point about Netflix. You know what makes Netflix great? The fact that I can watch Netflix content on any device, regardless of what I'm on. And I like Amazon Prime or Amazon TV. Why? Because regardless of what device I use, if I purchase content on Amazon, I can watch it anywhere.
Yeah.
Where is
this going?
The only beef I have with Apple is as an Android user.
You can't.
So here's the thing. On my TV, anything, so your TV, a smart TV, you can get the app.
Okay.
There is no Apple TV app for Android, like for Android phone or tablet.
Oh, there isn't. That is bad. Well, that's Android's fault.
No, so it is, but the workaround, which actually works really well, is to just use it on a browser, which I've had no problems with until I realized one small problem. If you purchase Apple content, like I can watch anything that's like almost everything that's there.
Right.
But if I buy a show on Apple TV, I can't watch it from the browser. I can only watch it on my TV.
Okay.
And it's the same thing for the Paramount stuff. So like I was watching this new show, which is it's got the dude from Lost. He was also in the Matrix. The brother from he was in the Matrix.
Marissa loves
too, and then he was in Lost. Michael, the black guy. So it's called From. Show is out of control. I love the show, but I can't watch it on my phone because I get like 15, 20 minutes sometimes to watch it. It's called From. It's legit. Great start. And I was all excited about it. I'm like, come on, man.
Check it out.
There needs to be an Apple TV app.
But you know that's Android.
I know. I'm
probably blocking
just
it. Yeah.
arguing to the ether that I need that.
Well, you know, you don't want Apple to get too competitive.
Michael Emerson. That's his name, right? That's the actor's name. I should know him. He's been in a bunch of stuff. He's good. He's in Lost. Anyways, it is a great show. I've watched like one episode. It's like, yeah, this is great. I'll be able to watch like 20 minutes of it every single night, and I watch on my phone in the evenings because, you know, like daddy duties and all that stuff. I can be in front of the TV and I go to bed early. Ridiculous. I just want to be able to watch it on my phone. From is a good show. But Mara did come back into that 24.5 zone. Technically 24.60 was this flat bottom break. Got some Hines in there, and then we're going to try to scalp it into this higher low and then hold through 24 and a quarter if it does get there. And I do see Guap just said the only beef with Apple. Yeah, I don't have another problem with Apple. I mean, I'm not an Apple. I'm an Apple shareholder, not an Apple user. I'll be the first person with my entire family. I'm the only person in my family. My parents, my brother, you know, a lot of my family in the West Indies, they love Apple. Like, great. I've always preferred Android. Technically, I was a BlackBerry guy, but well, you know, there's not much you can do about that. So I'll just leave that one alone. I was that guy on the BlackBerry. And I mean, literally, I was that guy.
Yeah, like, you and Arun had the BlackBerry.
No, Arun did not continue to upgrade.
Right.
I was like the key, which was, I mean, technically it wasn't a BlackBerry phone. They didn't make it. But still, I'd like to be able to say that I held on to that.
You were that one account that everyone was fighting for because they're like, there's one last guy that will upgrade. Like, it's me. Let me get him on the line. Let me get those points. And
I was that guy.
And they gave it to you, yeah.
And then every time, like, BlackBerry's up today.
Find something you like.
And then I was like, every time BlackBerry would be up on the show, I'd be able to pull it. I'd like, hey, look at my BlackBerry phone. And now, dude, I want that.
That was great content.
I want that Pixel Fold. I'm gonna get one
so
of the
I saw some guy this weekend. I think I'm going to see him tonight.
Those look out of control.
A hockey guy. He had some folding one. I'm going to find out which one it was. I don't know. I saw him doing it. I meant to mention now that you bring it up.
Apple's gonna get one too. Everyone's gonna have them.
Yeah. They all got some kind of a folding phone, but Apple not yet. They're building that apparently. All right, so I don't have any more stops out, period, because I have very, very light position on NVIDIA and SMH. Both of those stocks are, by the way, SMH is now $3.50 in the money, and NVIDIA is $2 in the money. So we're going to go chicken dinner winner right now. And this is a big chicken dinner winner for us on Tesla, but you're falling back in as the market goes down, and the market is down 1%. So that's not good. So now the market, just like my singing, the market also.
I like that song. Well, actually, I don't like that song.
No, you don't like the market down 1%. If it was up 1%. So you have at the end of the day, what I'm going to get at here eventually is that we have about 10% left of this position, maybe a little bit more, about 13 or 14% left. But here comes, I want to get more right now. So I'm going to get a little bit more. You're going to see me get a little, okay, well, here we go. 383, like 75 break gives us that trade. So there you go. We take some more bids right here, right now. Our average price, 384.30s.
AMD's
So a little bit more down. Yeah, we are lighting it up on the short right now. We're going to try a little bit of a long with Tesla here. Let me put something out at around 50. If we can get something, that'd be nice. But other than that, man, right now we are watching out for not too much more than this. We're out. We want to try the 200 period. It's a level, but there it is. Okay, so we're out. And again, it's like we had the stop order set, so it might have just punched us out at the bottom. It was a break of 75. I can tell you that we got 71s. So maybe the low, maybe not, but that's just following our rules right there. It fell right back in, well prepared for it. I mean, we were getting out up here. We probably had about the same amount of shares there as we got out there. So kind of like a wash by holding it. You know, you never want to have a wash trade, but hey.
A wash trade.
Yeah, wash trade, I was just going to say, like, what I was long.
It's different for a day trader than.
Oh, yeah. I don't mean a wash trade as in, like, I'm hitting myself. What I'm saying is, like, this trade, whatever I was up right there, I just gave back because I told you Randy got the, nice. Now you're on air, Randy, there, so he's got the haircut, so he can come in. I was wondering, I was like, where's Randy to go get our coffee? He's like, he's getting a haircut. So, nice one there.
I need to get a haircut.
Nice one there. It looks nice, man. I think he went, did he? Oh, no, that's about normal there. I was looking at it on the TV. Nice cut. Got the beard trim and everything going on over there?
Yeah, I always have my guy trim the beard that I don't have all the time. You know, it's a.
Did our guys at least tell you to say hi to me at least? That's it.
Halim didn't say hi.
Watch that. I'm calling him right now.
Hold on a second. Sean has answered the phone for his barber live while on the air. Has been loyal to Halim as long as, how long? 5 years? 6 years?
Hold on.
Oh, yeah, at least.
6 years?
Hold on. Everyone's going to hear in a second.
Okay.
Can you guys hear this? Can they hear this?
He's probably working.
He is working.
We're working. Okay.
Exactly. I'm going to say what's up to him. We're calling my barber right here live, the guy that just cut Randy.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, how's it going? You're live on the air right now. I saw you gave Randy a beautiful haircut, my friend.
Yes, I do. Always.
Yeah, we're live on YouTube right now. Because you know what? I asked Randy, I said, did Halim at least tell you to say hi to me? And he said no. So I was just wondering if we're still friends and everything.
Oh, I didn't say hi to you because I thought you are coming today. That's why.
Okay.
I say hi to you, my friend.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. How are you? How's the family?
Good. The family, everybody is good. How is the YouTubers?
Oh, the YouTubers are really, really great. We're having a great time here right now. I'm going to. Is Ralph around or no?
No, Rafael is not in today.
Yeah, he's not in today.
He's coming on Friday.
Coming up.
Why? Go for it.
Well, because I was thinking about switching barbers.
Oh, don't. Come on.
Come on Friday, you will switch the barber.
No. I'm just playing around with you. All right, Halim, thank you. Randy looks very handsome and much more handsome than normal. So thank you for giving him.
Hard to do.
I'm trying to do. I'm always trying to make you guys looking handsome.
Well, next time try to do it for me. I mean, I come over there. You know, I go in looking one way. I come out.
But I don't want to make you too much handsome, and then other women will jump, and then I'm gonna cause problems with your wife, man.
Very, very valid point, my guy. Very valid point. Halim, I might make this a weekly segment here. This has been a lot of fun. I'll send you the clip and I'll see you very soon. Thank you, and I'll come for another haircut.
You're welcome, my friend.
Okay, ciao.
I love that he pulled it back to you, like, because I thought you were going to come today.
Yeah, I never messaged that guy that I was coming today.
Didn't you, though?
Wow. But anyways, great guy, Halim. I mean,
Literally.
At least he's honest. He said, no, I didn't say hi to you. Yeah, he's right.
When you find a good barber,
Oh, yeah.
y'all know, everybody knows.
I'm just playing around.
Give him a mohawk.
The guy's a great guy.
I don't think any of us can pull off a mohawk. Sorry, Chad.
Oh man, mohawk with what? Just a couple hairs going on there? No, but we like that. We just did that for some content there. That was fun. All right, so as that was happening,
Excuse me.
we weren't making or losing any money, so everything is fine. Tesla, our latest trade got us breaking down, so we had to watch out for that. It did break, and what I was explaining there before we saw the handsome gentleman of Randy come through right there was that what I was talking about a wash trade was, so let's just say we had 100 shares left. Well, we got like 50 out up here for basically $1. Some of them were $2. And then that last 50, we basically held all 50 back in and then got out there. So for all the pieces that we got out up here, we basically wash trade. So we go like from making whatever, $10 up there to losing $10 down here. So it's just, that's what I meant, that net. On this trade, fine, we made money, but on the last piece that we had, dropped back in. So yeah, anyways, there goes Tesla through that 384. I wish it would have been a little bit of a different situation there, but you know, we tried.
Just I got to answer this one in the chat. Starburst, great name. I love Starburst. We got way too much Starburst at Halloween this year, so I probably had way too much Starburst because my daughter, she says she loves it, but then Daddy has to eat a bunch of it. I thought you pity the fools. If anyone can pull off a mohawk, it would be you. Well, I'll tell you this right now. If I could actually do a mohawk, see what's not happening here? If I could actually pull off a mohawk, I already would have grown it the entire year and then been like just au naturel, like my real hair, and then done it for Halloween and been Mr. T. Like I pity the fool that doesn't hit the like and subscribe button. 100%. Like just like when I was Jules for Halloween, like I had to wear, look, I couldn't, you know, it doesn't grow like it used to. My brother pulls it off and he's older than me, which I can't, I wish I could do it, but yeah, I love doing fun stuff like that. For Halloween, you want to be doing like the real, if I could do it, just not have to wear a wig. But I would love to go with Mr. T, but you know, I can't grow a mohawk. I'd do something fake if I could, but I feel like next year I do want to try something a little bit different for Halloween. Because this year I feel like we dropped the ball. Like I liked it, but I wore an old costume because my daughter didn't want me to wear our group costume, and then we didn't have a team costume.
We didn't have a team one, yeah, but
yeah, like I
don't know. People were liking the hot dog. I know.
I just want to go back to the whole like we have like a theme, which I think is really cool. A couple of things in here. AMD's bouncing nicely, so whether or not AMD is finished being dead for the day, it just bounced off a 130 level for anyone that's trying to look at it. Strong move to the upside. And
right. Adam DeLuce met the barber, by the way.
Yeah, Mara's starting to head down. I got 24.30 is my next bid on Mara, so we took the consolidation short. And again, it's just like literally the exact same thing it did. It bounced, got to 24.75, lower high off 24.60, and then hopefully short right back to the bottom. We'll see what happens here. Darwin, we would never dress. I'll tell you right now, you don't have to worry about me dressing up as Jay-Z or Diddy. That's not going to happen. That's one joke I'm not even trying.
I think that Jay-Z thing is fake, but I don't know.
I don't know what to believe anymore, man. At this point, I heard some. Actually, I shouldn't say I heard this. I got suggested I was like scrolling YouTube. Literally, I was watching highlights, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And then a video showed up, and it was like the next. If they did like a tell-all about this celebrity, that would be crazy. And it was like Sidney Poitier. I'm like, come on, man. Like, what are we doing here? Like, the guy is like an absolute acting like legend. I'm like, don't tell me like that kind of stuff. So I think it's all.
Well, yeah. I mean, you could be an acting legend.
Who knows what to believe anymore, right? Like, it's exactly the thing. Like, who knows what to believe? All right, Mara's heading to the downside. AMD's catching a bid. Let me know what you guys are trading here. Is there anything else moving?
I'm going to get out of NVIDIA here.
Where is let me check. Where is that doing?
I mean, I could talk about it. So I'm short NVIDIA.
Still weak. Under VWAP.
Yeah, it's still under VWAP. It's this 50 period. I'm going to get out if it breaks it. I mean, we're still $1.50 in the money. It was better, which is all. That's all. It was better. And, you know, we didn't take the very bottom. Of course, I'm still pissed off about Tesla because we got out there. Now it's $1.50 higher than where we got out. Like, that's a big difference, honestly. That's too bad. Oh, well. All right. So anyways, yeah, right there breaking through the 50 period. We're going to get out of NVIDIA. We're still in it from the morning. So good trade, but we're not in it anymore. So if that can come back out, that'd be fine. But it's NVIDIA right now. We'll see where it goes. And if it breaks that, we're going to get out just because it could be a trend change. That's all. All right, SMH, we're still doing pretty good on that one. Yeah, and this is the sort of the womp-womp there for Tesla. look, comes into the 200 period. We did watch it. We talk about the 200 period a lot. And I mean, like I said, if I didn't mean it, we wouldn't be talking about it. So, you know, I like those levels. Just didn't work out for us, unfortunately, there. And didn't hold. And just like the futures right now do not seem to want to hold the 50 period either. And it looks like NVIDIA, that was going to be our out. That could be a turnaround. You couldn't think about getting short. Right now, at this time of day, though, I would rather wait for VWAP in order to get short anything. The market hasn't really represented this 50 period moving average, and this again is just on a 1 minute chart. I was going to add a 200 minute to this, but it's fine. I'll just look at it on the TQs. But anyways, nice downside move there. VWAP as well. That's what I'd rather wait for. So I'm not going to play the short in the market off this. If you like the short in the market, I would say you can go short any time now and then use the 50 period as you're out. If it breaks, it's held it basically for an hour and a bit. Ever since we broke that, we tried to get back there within the first 10 minutes. Didn't happen. Just tried again. Didn't happen. So yeah, I mean, I got to say that looks pretty good for that short, and we just bounced off of that as well. This could give us an opportunity to reload Tesla if we thought that that was going to be an opportunity. Looks like 83 would be that bottom. One missed opportunity for myself, and we could talk about it. We have C3.AI, we have Oracle, we have Mongo. Those are all going to be tonight. MDB is the most recent one there. The previous move for C3.AI was minus 9%. The implied move on that is 17.
Yeah, that's me.
So that's C3.AI. Yeah, Dara has since updated our little notebook here. So that's the move there for C3.AI, and what a move it's been. You know, like 17%, that might not even look that much like a blip here. Like you're going to go down what? On $42. So if you lose 20, that's $8. So 35, 36, so $38 or so for 17. That's just back into there. Or you really take off on this. This looks like they liked C3.AI. Seems like it could beat. I would say, I don't know. I don't like names that are too far away from there. But okay, now that this loads up, I see this now, which may be a problem.
Well, hold on.
All right, C3.AI is short around $50, but you got to get there first, right?
17% from the 42 is that 50.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's actually, look, I think it's, whenever that happens, it's almost exactly the move to a major support or resistance. I usually think if you happen to be trading it, you play it off of that level as opposed to praying it's going to break it out in the aftermarket.
Right. That's what I was saying. Play the short maybe off that 50 if it does come in.
I believe we're going to the desk with Adara take care of some business.
Okay.
The show is brought to you by Worksport. Introducing a new discovery on the NASDAQ. Worksport, ticker WKSP. Worksport is a US-based manufacturer and is rapidly expanding with growing revenues, government contracts, and innovative green energy products designed to power your life off-grid. Whether you're on the move or seeking sustainable energy solutions, Worksport has you covered. Now trading on the NASDAQ under WKSP. Discover the future of clean energy with Worksport. Back to you.
I saw on Worksport.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, we were talking about C3.AI a little bit, but I saw Worksport was adding, and this was a true story last week. I saw that they were adding Bitcoin, honestly, to their balance sheet. So find out more about that. I don't want to misreport. Okay, congratulations. There it is. Yeah. So.
Well, I wasn't hitting that because I knew that to be true.
No, I'm pretty sure. I definitely.
I trust you.
I'm 100% sure that was reported on. Yeah.
Those are little Bitcoins. Yes. That's why I hit that key.
Yeah. I don't even have that button actually. This was a nice one that was relatively new. I like the Money Storm. That's about the only new one I have. And then
I want to.
Fabian,
we need a Doge one.
Do something. I keep hearing Doge all the time now. They're very, very smart. Like I was listening to CNBC, they're like Doge this and Doge that. They mean the government,
Department of Government Efficiency. Yes.
And I'm just like, Dogecoin?
You know what's crazy?
But that's smart. I mean, that's obviously why they do that.
There was
use the bathroom soon.
I'm old, and but I don't remember the name of the commission, but this happened before. I think it was during the Reagan years that they had, like, there was, not to go into politics, but for anyone thinks
crypto was really bumping.
When anyone thinks that there's a really good chance to be like some big sharp cuts and you're worrying about like military spending coming down, how's my Lockheed Martin going to look for an investment or anything like that? No, they tried this with a commission like a while back and it accomplished, there actually wasn't any drop in government spending because it's too big of a deal. And I think it's that matters. Like if you look at the targets that they have for how much they want to be able to cut, it's like it's completely impossible to do without major cuts to some of the things that never get cut, like the mandatory spending. It's like mandatory spending or military spending. And I think if you're looking at, because I have my eyeballs, I've said it before, on Lockheed Martin, right? And this one, you look at this chart, like it is pulled back a nice 20% move into the 200-period moving average, which generally speaking on a good stock is like a go zone type of level, and it's about to make, I think, a bit of a trend reversal. It looks like it's setting up there, but if you're concerned about them cutting, it's like they never really accomplish that much. I think it is this is a name worth watching there for sure. There is I don't see, wait a minute, okay. I just saw Tisha Perkins say CHSN is halted to the upside. Yeah, why didn't this hit my halt scanner?
CHSN, huh?
You know what? Oh, never mind. It's done 72,000 shares in volume.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm pretty sure the halt scanner I have up has a volume minimum, of which a stock doing 72,000 is not going to be able to make it. If it's, that's way too low on volume. So this is halted up. Or I'll give you the tap's $12. It's halted at 10.34. But if you've only done 72,000 in volume, that is an absolute no-fly zone for me. So it looks like just a volatility halt. I did reload Rivian pretty much at the same levels before, but every time I've been in this stock actually it's not true. Like I was about to say with one exception, every time I've been in the long, it's worked, and then I eventually stop out some, then it's worked, and then stop out some. So I just reloaded. It's the first time it's actually not bouncing there. But the only position we put on other than that is MAR, which continues to go down. I'm now just bidding in front of the 24 level here on MAR. So it gave us the move into the quarters, and now we're looking for the push all the way down to the even dollar on the 24 half short here in MARA. Bitcoin back down to 97,000.
A little bit of a floss there. So we just took another shot here. I don't know. I mean, hopefully, let's get another piece out here at 40s if we can. Didn't realize how annoying that. All right, so there it is, 384.40s. We're long now. We got actually a little bit below 383.90s. That's kind of a play that I'm doing now. If I don't think the level's that key, I wait for the level to break. It's only 10 cents. It's not like it's so tricky, but it does break down there. We get 90s instead of O's, and now it rips back up, and we take some more out at the 200 periods. 50 cents. Like, this is the thing. For many different styles of trading, 50 cents would not be very much, but especially on Tesla, it's $385 stock. We're going to now hold on. So now we're out of half. I'm out of half of the reload for 50 cents. And that's at the 200 period moving average, so fine. Now, like I was talking about the wash trade, I'm putting more risk onto this now. So we just took 50-cent winner. We're going to give this to 383, which is what I was trying to do in the first place. Let's just see if it holds. We can reload it down there if we need to. But it's a good chance into the close, right? We're still NVIDIA and SMH. Those are the only positions that we have on right now with this Tesla trade. So if there's anything else you guys want us to, it does remind me, what's up, Erie Pages? It does remind me of a Nintendo, that almost like a Mike Tyson's Punch-Out.
No, isn't it? It's the game with the pad.
Pong?
No, they had an Olympics game where you remember the pad where you would run.
Yes.
You'd run on the pad and you jump for the hurdles and the long jump. I forget the name of it, but that was the sound.
Track and field.
Was it just called track and field?
I think Nintendo. Yeah.
I never had it. I was a Sega Genesis. Also, I had an Atari. Legitimate. I'm not making that up.
Yeah, I had ColecoVision. So that's, people probably don't even know what that is. All right, here goes. I'm gonna try to take $1 on the next little.
You're the only person I know that had that.
Coleco, yeah, it was sick. My dad was somewhat into that stuff. Nice. Okay, so 3. All right. Well, I mean, we're still just 50 cents, so let's just make it easy. 384. There's really nothing here. I always thought I'd look at 384 and be like, wow, 384 is something. I guess it is. Yeah, 384.50. What am I long at? Yeah, I'm just long right here, right now. Yeah, so that's the 200 period. So we just wicked up there again and failed off of that. Futures are kind of just lazy right here, not doing too much. So a little bit nervous now about this long, I would say, just a little bit, because we're not going. So that would be something to look at here. Not much else happening on this side of things right here. Just going long that name, short the other two, waiting for something to happen with Tesla. We just talked a little bit about I was going to talk about DraftKings. Uber is interesting because Uber right now just went above VWAP. So if you want to look at Uber just real quickly here, we have this play to come. Let me zoom this. Oopsie, zoom it the other way. You'll see where VWAP is right there. So Uber does have this chance. Again, though, a story that's relatively negative, right? We haven't really liked Uber the last couple days because of Waymo, and now you get that lesser car for Tesla. I think that's a benefit for Uber, but we'll wait to see where we go. So I would say maybe Uber breaking through down VWAP, maybe downside, but again, it's stronger than the market. So I like the stock. Where we would buy this is getting close. I said I think it's, and I'm going to take another stab at this.
54.
Yeah, right into here. No, 54.
The August
That'd be
low.
nice. Oh, well, yeah, that'd be great. No, I want to buy it even earlier than that. I was going to go into here, 62, 63, this 60-ish area. So that might be tomorrow. We may buy some Uber. So good move there on Uber last little days if you're looking to get long. I don't know. You never want more competition. That's for sure.
It's bugging me that I can't remember it right now, but there was a stock that I looked at. I was going through charts this morning, and there was one name I looked at. I'm like, oh, that August low. And it was like the August low comes in, and I'm going to want to buy it, and it's really bugging me. I feel like I've gone through every single thing that I think it could be, and I can't remember it. Those August lows, and just, okay, I have the chart of MSTR up. That's not going to help at all. Maybe I should just pull up an Uber one. I was going to mention MSTR because there's a lot of questions about it there. But those August lows, I think that when you have a complete panic level, right? Like everyone's scared the futures are going to be limit down at the open. People are thinking it's Black Monday. That's the kind of atmosphere that we had that morning. You had Apple was at $190 something, and everything that made that bottom. Now, I don't know, Uber wasn't the company, but I think when you get down to levels where people were buying in the most panic imaginable, that's if you're not willing to buy a stock or take a trade off the stock at that kind of a support level, then you don't like the stock. Because to me, if you see those, they're fantastic. It was MSTR that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, like I liked Mara because of the price level that it curled at and all that kind of good stuff as Bitcoin head back down, not underneath 97,000 again. MSTR has a not good looking wedge forming. And what I mean by that is like you've got higher, in a general sense, you do have higher lows, but if you look at the lower highs, it's much more steep. I don't care where you decide to draw it from, it's much more steep. And a loss of this trend, to me, the 50 period is a monster low, just 270 to 280 area. It was a big breakout price. It's the 50 period as well. I think if this loses this trend support, you could really start to head back in. So if we were to test 90,000 in Bitcoin, this is going down here on MSTR. As for today, all I can tell you is it already broke the low of the day. And there's this support down at like 360-ish bucks. So it's definitely trending down. Nothing good about it recently. I think the last buy, did he buy anything over 100,000 or was the last buy 98.6?
Yeah, I think he said, the report we had earlier today was buying at 98.
Yeah, it was 98.6. I don't think he's actually bought over 100K, but
$2 billion worth or something like that.
They're loading it up. It's absolutely loading it up. I didn't mean to go to NVIDIA. That's weird. I wanted to type in Mar. Mar is about to get that 24 level, which is the low. This is the target zone for me. Like this is where support's been on Mara. Kind of was looking for a mean reversion play back into one of these levels, but if we get 24, we're going to jump out. Smurvin11, thoughts on AMD short through 130? Man, it's already bounced.
Smurvin, eh?
Well, it's Smurvin11.
Yeah.
Maybe you meant S. Mervin. Like maybe your name is Sean Mervin.
Smurvin is nice.
But Smurvin11.
Smooth Smurvin Mervin.
Number 11, George Bell.
All right.
But 130.
Jorge Bell.
I hesitate to want a long on AMD. I'm short bias on this stock. I just don't think it just didn't get to where I would have wanted to short it, unfortunately. But the risk to reward's not terrible. It's power hour. Sometimes you get a nice little mean reversion play there on a stock like this. But it's been an absolute dog for sure, AMD. I just can't like the long, and I should tweet out, and I was saying this in my, when we were talking about in AMD holding this area here and then breaking the channel a couple of weeks ago, it's like the other trade, if it fails that channel, is for it to get to the bottom. That's all the way down at like 125. Like that's where I'm gonna like AMD. You know what? This was a stock. It was AMD. That's what it was. I knew eventually I was gonna remember it. No, AMD is very close to that August low. It wicked down to 115. The higher, like the support where it opened up was 125. Now it's got a trend bottom, which is about to converge with that level. Like if you like AMD, then to me, there's a trade down here at the 125. I think we're seeing it this week. So I don't necessarily love the long, but down around there, I'll be looking for a long setup on AMD. If we get that today, then something really bad has happened. So I would not expect that whatsoever today on Advanced Micro Devices. still going sideways on Rivian. And I got 44.5, so my price is 45. My stop is right under here. It's actually 36 is the low. Just looking for a bounce through VWAP. It's literally not moving though. Uh-oh.
We try to get Tesla bounce. If we can't get it, I mean, I still want to be here for it. Of course, and what I'm talking about is Tesla at 60s. So I did put a bid there at 60. We missed it. It went to like 68 or something. I want to get a little bit longer ahead of 50. So we'll have to wait to see. We are bidding there at 60. So there it is right there. That's our 50 level, or basically 60 on the knot. I guess we must have just missed it. Well, we're bidding here right now. So hopefully it comes back. See, we just missed it again. It went to 61 again there on the bid. Sometimes it's hilarious, but that time it really wasn't. All right, so we'll have to wait to see now if we're able to get anything on that play. So that would have been nice to get a smooth little 40 cents right off the jump, but we didn't. So we'll have to wait to see now if we get a nice little move back in for Tesla. That would be that play. One name that we hadn't looked at today too much was SMCI. What a move down. It was near that $50 range in the morning, and then, I guess it just fell off early, and that sort of gave us that sour taste to the point where we didn't trade it anymore back there for Tesla, for SMCI. But you can see right now, it looks like a nice little 45 or so battle happening right now with that low 44 and change. I mean, I think it's a good stock. I like the stock. I like the company, especially if they can relist. Or refile by, what was it, February of 2025?
February 25th.
Yeah, so now they're given that opportunity, which is a few months now.
That's a
They'll
great
be able to figure it all out. So yeah, I think I like this name. I mean, our daily chart won't do it justice because it simply does not have the split. So here's a weekly chart now. So this is an SMCI weekly chart. We already talked about this level down there, how much of a buy that possibly was. The thing is that it's very, very hard to do that on falling knife names. Like when you get a story that comes out first, whistleblower, the Hindenburg or the short sell, I don't know if it was them, but the short sell report that came out, and then you had their accounting firm drop out, which was a problem, and then BDO came in and was like, we'll take it, and then they started to go back up to the upside, and then they lost they were going to be delisted, then they got it back, and now they have another date where we talk about, to file, right? So they void that delisting requirement. But right there, we are at a level, this is why 50 is so important. So we already gapped through it. You actually fill the whole gap all the way back. Now you're just waiting for that confirmation. It looks like 50-50 or so. So $50.50, something like that, is what we're looking for right there on SMCI. Yeah, it's going to go. All right, so right now we'll see here. Tesla is back in. We're long at 50s right now. It looks like it wants to break lower. So here we go. Last sort of spot here for me. If it breaks lower, it breaks lower. Out on this trade at 383 for Tesla.
Yeah, I think when you look at that level, it's like a lot of shorts that played this news are now breaking past the most obvious spot and not have to cover, but there's no way they're not covering for sure. I did just get Mara 24. So Mara, it's trying to bounce off 24. This is the second time it's done it.
Oh, yeah.
It's not SSR, but it is down 9%. So we play, again, just the same trade. It goes to 24.75. It shows you resistance the third time today. Short the consolidation underneath into the low of the day. Now it's attempting some kind of a bounce here on Mars. Just want to be, just wait for that good opportunity, get it in, strike, and then look for the next one. Fortunate today that everything's working out. But there was just, Roku just made a pretty large move to the downside on huge volume. No story that I saw, except for them saying the Roku was headed to the low. So this just dropped about $1.50 and right back up on a monster volume candle on Roku. I have not seen or heard a story for why this would have happened on Roku, but we'll keep our ears to the ground there. Obviously, that's a big one. Biggest spike of the day.
Yeah, I mean, Coco beware.
Legend.
We just got $1. Like, we went back to Neil, and then all of a sudden you come back here, and this trade is now $1.30 in the money. So here goes Tesla. Let's take something out in the 50s. Okay, like, honestly. We just reloaded this. We said our last salvo there. So you guys want to talk about like risk to reward? We're long at 26s. We were long at 43s, remember? So this was about a 40 cents plus slippage worth of risk right now. Now 3-to-1 upside, and we continue to go. We have much more than half left. Let's get an offer right here. I was at 90. We'll hit an offer at 60 now. See if we can get back up to the upside. But there it goes, man. We're running ads to make a little bit of coin, but we're just making coin trading. So there it goes. Nice move on the upside there for Tesla. Great trade buying that 383. I mean, it come down down there a bit before. So here it goes. This is what trading is, right? You want to put the odds forever in your favor. And if we were going to get stopped out, like we said, at 3.8, okay, face slapper continuing right now on Tesla. Nice move back up there to the upside. So just right now, we just put on board $1.20 right there. First average in 383.50s, and then the next one there 383.20 on that downside. Taking out some more. I'm gonna take out one more piece as we go. So there we go. So another piece out there at 30s, or we just punched out. Now we'll wait to see where we go from here. But yeah, man, Tesla. Wow, good little move here to start, or I don't know if it's just starting or not, but 320 right now, a couple more minutes until those imbalances. So far, so good here for the Tesla reload.
And speaking of EV names, VinFast Auto is excited to announce the official delivery of its flagship VF9 all-electric SUV to North American customers. This stunning 7-passenger, 3-row electric vehicle has a starting price from $69,800. In the U.S., the VF9 Plus is now available across VinFast's retail network in California and dealerships nationwide. For a limited time, VinFast is making the VF9 Plus even more accessible with an exclusive promotional lease offer of just $529 per month. In the Canadian market, the all-wheel drive model, gotta have it, has all-in price starting from $77,000, is now offering an electric premium SUV option tailored to all-season performance. Check out this QR code that you see there and check the link in the description, which I think you can find. So shout out to VinFast, which, by the way, had one of the best examples of program buy on it that I've seen. Actually, when I say a buy program, I don't mean like it's an algo trading. No, it can simply be like someone that wants to accumulate shares has a rudimentary type program just buying it up. The other day, if you weren't watching, this literally happened last week. That's why it's a good kind of learning thing here. Yeah, when you see a trend like this on a 15-minute, if you're a scalp trader, like just finding places to join is not necessarily the worst thing in the world. It broke out 4, and then just look at it. There wasn't a red candle until about the afternoon show. And if you're looking at this, it's kind of like a triple top in there. So $5, and then this $5.30 to $5.40 looks like a good zone for VinFast. I mean, when you see that kind of program buying, those are the things that you want to be able to join. You know, it's always just going to be more of a trade than anything else. I just got tagged at 50, and then now look at this. If we lose consolidation, I'm not reloading this one. If we lose this consolidation, like you were just above VWAP and you wicked it. So to me, that's not a strong move. I'm just going to jump out of Rivian, be happy that it's worked out for us here. But the last, like every time we've taken this long in this area, it's been a little bit worse, or it's giving you a little bit less than each other time. Like you're trading 1440 here, it's giving you 80s. You're trading it here, it's giving you 75s. Trade it again, it gives you 65s. You trade it here, it can barely hold 50. So I can see diminishing returns. Yeah, it's obvious. It's diminishing returns. There's no reload there for me. I was kind of thinking you could go pull back on Mara, and if it does and goes halfway, I'd look for a short halfway to our 2460. But I'm not going to short it at the low of the day. We're just going to wait for a pop. This is the name that I'd like to jump back into because of the trend to the downside. And Mara, like I said, bleeding. Bitcoin underneath that 97,000. Not really looking for any longs there. TX Trader just said Reddit short. What's Reddit doing? Sideways. I don't know.
Yeah, the Josh Brown bump. I don't know if it went.
It actually, yeah, I mean, it got a pretty good. It was right in here. Josh Brown mentioned it on CNBC, and then this was the bounce. Reddit was getting kind of smoked today, and then there's the bounce. It's right back into VWAP, and now just trading sideways. I don't necessarily see a trade there. I'd rather be in the Mara, which I know is moving. Like if it can get a pop, then we can look for a trend continuation maybe through the low of the day. But it is 325, so we're getting close to when the imbalances are going to start coming out there, and you want to be wrapping up positions more than anything else. Rico, Palantir thoughts?
Sure.
Unless it's at 71. Yeah, not there yet.
Your thoughts?
71, bounce. 71 or 70.
71, geez.
It's only 5.5 points down.
Come on, man. Come on.
It's
that might have topped out.
Yeah, it looks like a temporary top. Our charts aren't going to do much justice to Palantir because they don't have the change to the NASDAQ. So it looks like it just morphed into existence out of nowhere. But when you look at this on the weekly chart, it gets so clean. Like $20, there's your support at 20. There's your support at 40. There's your turn at 80. Like, I don't know. Like, that seems pretty reasonable to me. Any guesses where I'd look for the first bounce if this is a temporary top? 60. I don't know. 20, 40, skip 60, go to 80, pull back to 60. That seems pretty reasonable as far as I'm concerned. I think if you see 40, that's highly unlikely. I mean, anything can happen. Anything can happen. But I'd be looking for the 60 area on some kind of a pullback if we've made a temporary top. Today, however, I was looking for a bounce off. I tried 72, but I was sort of saying it should have been 71, and then it would have been an even better long. That was an okay long off 72. The long off 71 was twice as good. But at that point, I'd given up on Palantir long. I was just like, no, we should have been short today. Getting away with being green on Palantir, going long, sometimes you get away with it. You should just stop trading it,
So, yeah, exactly. And that's why I hadn't traded it since that beginning. That's why when I looked over, I was like, oh, my God, $71. Like, what is going on? All right. So, yeah, just to talk again a little bit about not always the same stuff here, but we do have something to look at. And, of course, that's going to be Tesla. It just dropped lower. This time, though, hot dog cannons. Like, you wouldn't normally celebrate losing on things, of course. But right into there, I know our net. We did actually really well on that because these moves up off of that, we only wound up losing, again, like we were long. Our average price was, I think it was 22s or something at the end. We get out on that break flat down. I think we got 91s on that pushback in, which doesn't look like a great price now, but that wasn't bad. So net up there on Tesla, and that's why we start to scalp it out. I even put that on the sticky note today. It's like, look, guys, all these levels that I'm talking about are scalping out when we're talking about early levels, and then we can judge. Like, I thought we could hold this price right there on Tesla, 393, all the way back up, but we did a good job earlier of getting out at the top when that happened. Then we started seeing that it was a top, which got us out on the 200 break. And then we tried it again then before losing it. But we're going to be green on Tesla. But again, just trying to fight this. It looks like these shorts were right. If we were short instead of long every time, I don't think we would have got stopped out. So something to consider there. You don't always have to go the same way all the time in order to make money. You can flip up your game plan on that one. We've been short the whole day, though, on SMH, which is down actually at the bottom. Let's just put a bid here. It's 330. I mean, this will basically cap off a great day here on SMH. It's going to be my number one stock. It might be my number one stock of the month, actually, all tallied up. This is not my biggest trade. I think the biggest trades would have been those Tesla trades, but I've lost some on Tesla, so give or take. And I know, the breaks have been insane. That's been the best parts. But generally speaking, on SMH, it's the first time I traded it all month. So just saying, a one and done right now for that one. And we'll see if this one can continue to bleed. For NVIDIA, I had the stop, again, breaking the 50 period, but now that's come back in. So the 50 period's all the way back up here. So my stop on NVIDIA was actually 138.71. So that came pretty close right there. Why don't we just keep that? 138.70. So we almost got stopped out. Let's see if it'll happen again to us. Not that we want to get stopped out, but it's a nice downside move. If you're still in this play, breaking through the 50 period, we never liked that. If I was smart and would have noticed it right there, we could have got out at 35, and that would have saved us from punching out there. So if you're a little bit wondering about this market here, as the trend is downside, I would still stay hold. And remember we said where you could have took the short, 50 period again would have printed for us. So that's a 1 minute SMA, 1 minute chart, 50 period SMA. And we first started talking about that on the daily 50 period moving averages. And then I started to incorporate it into scalping. And it's been pretty good. It gives you a good break. Hey, let me see, guess what's about to hit the high? Apple. I would say, Neil asked me, guess what's about to hit the high? I'm going to say Apple.
It's Apple.
Is it? Okay. 'Cause I was just trying to think, like, what was a strong name?
This is the second time
I lost short, which was stupid.
I had a long got out of it and went into a short myself, and it's like, there's a million things you could short today. Apple probably didn't need to be one of them. It is what it is. Cry 2 tears in a bucket, and I won't complete the rest of that. But Apple, super strong, headed into the highs. But I wanted to, I just had your name in the chat, and I wanted to shout out a call on Mobileye. Oh, no. No, I just had it in there. Anyways, there was a question, a comment. It was Van Raj, sorry.
Oh, Van Raj?
Yeah, you were talking about Mobileye, Tesla-esque, FSD for VW, Porsche, etc. Look, I think Mobileye, if you're looking for plays in automation, it's not a bad one. But this is the kind of chart, like this is wild because it's the most obvious somebody has been selling this thing every time it approaches 19 bucks. And look at the volume. You're scaling up in volume going into this 19 level, and each rejection, like it's been getting bigger with the exception of today. Like it's rejecting all the way to 17 multiple times from 19. This time it's got a higher low. That's the kind of thing that tells me if it breaks out from this area, we're gonna really like it. So I think arrows up, but note that there's a seller consistently selling this 19 area, which means I'm more interested in buying. I'd be looking for a trade above 19.20 as opposed to trying to be long into that resistance level. Once it breaks, I think this one can start to fly. Let's go to Dara for Sector Watch.
Let's take a look here at some of these larger movers to the upside and downside, as we do every day here during Power Hour. We're going to take a look specifically, because I like to have a theme for this segment, at some of the names that made big moves during the UBS Global Media and Communications Conference, which took place today. Oddly enough, there were 3 companies here where people in the executive suite of the companies made comments at the conference, and then the stock had a pretty big reaction. So we'll start here we'll go in chronological order, starting with Comcast here. We did have Comcast Cable CEO, so not the CEO of Comcast, but Dave Watson, who is the CEO of Comcast Cable, speaking around 9:45 this morning, saying that there is intense competition in Q4, and that the fact that we did have these hurricanes going on earlier in Q4, that will actually lead to roughly 10,000 broadband losses. That's what's happening here with TMCSA. Then we have TMUS here, T-Mobile. This is around 12:30 p.m. We did have the CEO of T-Mobile, Mike Sievert, warn investors here that Q4 is back-end loaded and investors should be cautious because there's going to be some risk in the second half of the quarter. Then we had also the T-Mobile CEO saying that there's a pretty low device upgrade rate. So Apple moved down a little bit on these comments as well, but TMUS still down about 6% with that volume spike and drop. And then we had Disney here, DIS, with its CFO, Hugh F. Johnson, speaking around at 1:30 p.m. at this conference, saying basically that the fact this company is cracking down on password sharing for Disney Plus, its streaming service, will have, quote, incremental benefits every single quarter. And also here forecasting a pricing increase in the future for Disney Plus, though didn't exactly say when that price increase would take place. This conference also continues tomorrow, so keep an eye on companies like CHTR, Charter Communications. We have Warner Brothers expected to attend, as well as AT&T. So this is just day one. Day two could also be pretty interesting, guys. Back to you.
All righty then. All right, thanks, Adair. Yeah, lots of different names moving around there. Snapchat moving around right now.
Well, it's just sell and balance. That's
oh, sell and balance. Yeah, sorry. All right, so like, where's the fail thing? I like the fact that. Thank you. I want to do it again for myself. Put my face on there again.
What?
There we go. Okay. Back. Just having fun with myself. I mean, there's the fail again. So boom, 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 right back up to the 50-period moving average. I'm going to stay away from it. We'll just count our chickens today. Pretty happy being up right now, and let's just leave it at that right here for Tesla. I mean, it's too tricky back and forth. Like we made money the last time, but then we just lost it. Just for it to see it to go back up $1, it's kind of like for my emotional stability, I'm going to stay away from that one. I'm just noticing now Amazon, and again, I try to stay true to the trading style that I've sort of started with here on the show, and that is trading these big cap names. So like I've always sort of traded, and the sticky note has always been littered with big cap names. So for me, my scanners do have a lot of these in there. I will be continuously looking at the chat, see if there's any opportunities in some of these mid cap names, right? But that's going to be something where. Like at GameStop, we looked at that 29. Like I wrote down today on the sticky note, GameStop 29. excuse me, 29.50 break, only to see that would have been fine right there. There's 29.50. There's the break. It goes to 29.90 and then falls out. So I probably lose on this trade. Because again, like I don't trade GameStop the same way I would have traded like an Apple or something. Like, of course, we would get out at 30. We always would take that 50 cents, sort of that next level up. But then to hold it all the way back and then it breaks VWAP, that's a problem for me. And then breaks it again right there. So to me, it's like the long in trouble today on GameStop. And the only trade that I would have liked was that break right there. We had that QBTS right off the jump. So this could have been one D-wave here that we could have looked at earlier and maybe, again, should have. It had a huge buy imbalance early on in the morning and then whoop, all the way to the downside there, and it gave it up right there. Like Chris Berman, whoop, right there as it goes right to the bottom. So next time we see a big imbalance like that, I will go over to the best charting platform around and use it. That's eSignal. Make sure you do. Scan that QR code below. Get that going. Trade smarter, not harder. And this is the stuff I'm talking about. You see where these scanners that they have up right there? You can set them to trade rate. That's the number one thing that I look at, and that is that how often or what's going on with the prints right now? Is it printing? So you can get these unique scanners to eSignal. So go find that volume rate, trade rate, wide array of tools. I mean, I'm literally just reading what's on the screen right now and talking about my experiences with it. It's the back testing. It's the ability to be confident in your trading. Download it at home, download it at your work, wherever you're trading. eSignal, again, on the apps on your phone. I really enjoy it. It's my number one go-to. It's eSignal. We're just affiliated with them. There's really nothing there. Scan that QR code. Go check it out. Sign up. Let us know how you like it. And it's just eSignal. So, again, a good one right there. What does the E stand for?
I have no
Probably electronic signals, something like that, I would assume.
Well, they've been around obviously they've been around for quite some time. So my guess is, like when electronic trading became big, they've been around that long, so it probably does just mean electronic. Yeah. Because they were the first like go-to. Well, I mean maybe they weren't, but like professional program that makes the most sense. There's a couple of names on the early look imbalances. I would make a wager that Snapchat being 2 million to the sell side is not the one that's grabbing everybody's attention. MSTZ has a 1 million sell, which is it's one of those derivatives for MSTR. So sell on Snapchat of 2 million, sell on MSTZ of 1 million. Not really anything else. I saw in the chat, and I was going to answer it. I didn't want to interrupt, but my answer was going to be no. I saw in the chat, is Mara a long into the close? I'm going to say no. It never popped up to give a short off the 2430 level. It just continues to bleed. Bitcoin's Bitcoin's underneath 97,000 here. We're 96.7 and continuing to go lower. MSTR continues to bleed to the downside. That's looking a little bit rough here as well. I don't know if anything is really setting up. Like I thought we'd be going reload on Mara, and that seems like it's gone away. AMD's no longer moving, so there's not enough time, even if it were to pop up. The crazy thing is Apple's about to break out the high. A breakout of a high at this time of day is not my favorite thing in the world. But Tisha Perkins just said you see zero longs right now. Hindsight being 2020. I was looking for a pop to short Mara or AMD again. You could have just gone long Apple. But I was looking at two other stocks in that moment, unfortunately. So might have missed out on Apple. I think you want to join trends. So on a day where the market was weak, I was looking to short some pops. But Apple, super strong. I guarantee you there's nothing in the Mag 7 also closing at the highs. I mean, look at Amazon. Amazon's red on the day.
I just went long Amazon, LOL.
And Microsoft was having a good day. Maybe Microsoft's above VWAP, but it's nowhere near that high today. It's really just Apple that's super strong. I'm not taking a breakout at 340 on a big cap name that could have an imbalance coming. Like Apple's primed to have some kind of an imbalance, pun not intended. Although shout out to Amazon Prime. Their customer service is fantastic.
Yeah, they're getting. I mean, their streaming is getting better.
Streaming is great.
I still like that Ricky Stenicki movie. It's hilarious with John Cena. You should watch it if you have.
I have seen it.
Yeah, I just find that really funny.
I think Cena's a funny dude. My daughter absolutely. She thinks he's.
Yeah.
So I'm like, The Rock's pretty funny too.
We're going to Elimination Chamber. That should be fun. Cena's apparently his last appearance in Toronto. Yeah, right. Like they always say that stuff. Okay, so I'm going to go long Amazon. You want to know for a level here, Tisha? I mean, I think this is again. It's you don't. The market's underneath. Like I don't necessarily think that the longs are that great right now. So I think you got to be very, very patient with Amazon and with these longs. If anything, you probably are looking for some shorts. I just want to play it off of that bottom. So we do have 226 coming in right now. We'll average it in if we can get something in and around there. But that's kind of what I'm dealing with right now on Amazon. So 226 and change coming into play there. So I'll average it back. I'm waiting for 227. 226.27. So that would be my next dip buy opportunity on that one. So yeah, again, like this stock, but don't love it down here. We'll just see if it wants to bounce. Little stronger. And when you put that in there, Tisha and everybody else, the market does have a chance to bounce off these levels. You're at 21,450. We've already done it once right here. Why can't it do it into the close? Remember, we do have those imbalances coming through. Neil was just talking about them a little while ago. Let me look again here. Snapchat with the sell. BAC with the buy. Walmart with the sell. I am off tomorrow, a planned off day just because. My daughter was going to be doing some hockey in Burlington, so I don't have, I have days to spend, so I'm going to take tomorrow off, and then I think Neil has a couple of different days happening as well, back and forth there. So just a couple of days off coming for myself tomorrow, so we'll just let everybody know Obi will be here. So that's be very, very exciting for everybody right now. So there we go. All right, so let's just continue with, as I've been saying, with sort of what we're doing. So I think Amazon, if there's going to be a bounce, I like it. Something out around O's will be great. And then if we can get that move up to the 50 period, that would be good. If you can ever get something what we consider the bottom of the day right here, we can get that back in and then be able to punch it out. That would be a great trade for us. So hopefully we get the bottom of the day back up to the 50 period moving average, just something else that we're looking for right there. And again, if it drops out, then that's fine. This would be like a 1-to-1 trade. And then if it really rips, hopefully we'll be able to have something at the close. That's 222.63. And remember, the one thing about this is, the close is a lot of fun, but those imbalances can rip against you pretty easily. Our stop on NVIDIA, let's just change this maybe. No, let's just keep it. So it's not moving, but our stop is right here at 70. So if that comes in, we're $1.50 in the money. Our stop on SMH, we hadn't really talked about this. I think that we could bleed into the close. I'm looking for it to break down below here, 345.50. If it breaks below 345.50, then we're golden anyways. So that would be something right there to worry about. 345.50 there on SMH. It's why we're trying to hold out for this play. So hopefully we'll get it. If we don't, we don't. But I like it. That's what we're trying to hold out for. And then here's our stop. 346.10. If we break above 346.10, let's put that in right now. 346.11s, put that in. Out of everything if it breaks. So we're just trying to clean up. 17 more minutes. Oracle, C3.AI, Mongo. You're going to see that all with Neil. That should be a lot of fun. And Adara and Michael Noss coming.
Toll Brothers as well.
And Toll Brothers. And I told Neil.
Shout out to,
Yeah, I told Neil because he might not have heard this. We did have Andrew Rader on Friday. He had talked about a max pain in the market, and the market's down 1% today. He had said that we had sort of started at the middle of last week, that he was thinking the short was in. So he's going to look like a lot smarter than most, because today down that 1% in the NASDAQ. So we go back to Friday. He talked about some different ways to play it, not necessarily by selling everything you own, but potentially by looking at picking something up a little bit lower, like an IWM, and then some of the sectors that he did like, including that Toll Brothers. So yeah, anyways, Andrew Rader with a couple ideas on this market from Friday, and Toll Brothers was a name that he liked. So just FYI on that one.
Yeah, another earnings, and we didn't really go over the digits on Toll Brothers, but they can move. It's only a 6% expected move, but they are the third biggest name reporting. Obviously, Oracle's a big one. Mongo going to be in there. C3.AI, the 17% expected move, and then another biggie, Planet Labs. Like, that's a name, if you're looking for, we always like volatility, and small caps can obviously give you that kind of a thing. Planet Labs has like a 30% expected move, and the stock just recently doubled. So if you are looking for a continuation type play in either direction, that's probably going to be well over double digits for a trader, PL is going to be one that's going to potentially work. Oh man, the opportunities. Mara did make a bottom, so good for them. Tesla now bouncing. I don't see myself, unless an imbalanced trade comes in, I'm not really seeing anything that's setting up that I'm in love with. I don't want to short a pop in Mara this early, this late in the session, I should say. Tesla's making a decent bounce. Mara does catch a bit off of 24, or actually 23.90, sorry, 23.90. And then Apple lost all of its steam. Goes right into the high of the day at 247 and pulls back again. So Apple does not make that break of the high of the day. Looks like it's starting to run out of steam as well. So unfortunately, this is one of those, it's so crazy. Right before we came on air, I ran into Joe and was like, man, this market's just been a buy the dip situation. When was the last time we actually closed on the lows? and he couldn't remember the last time we closed on the lows. Well, now the answer might just be today.
Yeah.
The NASDAQ and the ES both trading at their low of the day. Diamonds, I have no idea at all. Crypto saying short NVIDIA. Like I said, unless NVIDIA has some kind of a big imbalance, I'm not trading it in here. As this market
that might have
doesn't have the goods. It doesn't have the goods today. And if I didn't know, Raider, he called a short, was on starting this week. I mean, we're closing at the lows. It's the late money that matters. Closing prices
Amazon.
in a long-term sense it matters more where you close than when you're open on stocks. Like if you're looking at candlesticks on a daily chart, I care much more about the closing candles than I do about the open. Not that they don't matter, but like show me where the money was being put in. Like where are you transacting at the end of the day that has to hold overnight? Because the majority of moves in the market do occur overnight, especially the gains anyways. The market heading back in. No, you didn't, Mara.
What did it do now?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, it did.
It's not even popping very far, but every single pop is just being absorbed. It gets right back to the low of the day. It was just bouncing, 23.90, 24.10, right back to the low of the day. It's just a weak market here. GOME, Andrew said short Palantir. Is that true?
I don't know. I mean, it was basically what we had talked about was a lot of the hot runners that had been running. That was part of it. He talked about recent IPOs, names like that. So
it might not have been specifically. Yeah.
No, I mean, he might have said it. I mean, I feel like there's probably a lot of different names that were talked about during that segment. But yeah, again, go back and have a look at it to see some of the individual. And I told you guys, like some of the different strategies that potentially he was thinking about there into that. So we're doing something different, of course. We're trying to trade day trading here. He holds, of course, and talks a little bit more macro than what we do here. But just for this style of trading. Amazon basically, as soon as we got into it, just kept on going down, down, down. And then it broke through 226, and it just bounced a little bit back up. Listen, let me try it one more time right now. We're going to give this not too much lower now. And we're going to take an L. Like if this breaks below 85, we're going to get out of this one and just call it like it is and just slap a big old fail on that trade because, yeah, not a good one. That is for sure. Here on Amazon, as it does fade out, it looks like the rest of it all. And I said, you know what, Tesla, you can just go directly, and you know what, like there's a market down, Tesla, whoop, upside. So again, really like Tesla down here. I understand like Sharif as well had his little case there about Tesla today, and I think the model, I like it, the Model Q. I didn't realize that it wasn't like, I know it's not an official announcement, but I think it is happening. And that's going to scare the shorts, I would think, when and if there is that official announcement, especially about a production date. I think that's what everybody's waiting for. So when that can officially become reality.
Randy was very skeptical about,
and that's what I was wondering. That's why I'm wondering. This morning, when it was like late 2025, I was like, really? That seems like
no, but it's
really
not. It's not. It's mid 2025.
Right. So that even seems close.
Like I read the article and I read the article that said mid 2025, and I still assumed it meant late in the year because that's how skeptical I was. Like I'm staring it in the face. It seems a little bit aggressive, but Elon,
it's a game changer, I think, for them.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, I mean, especially in China. So
Elon is just aggressive when it comes to targets, right? And it's just, he's the opposite of like Scotty or Jory LaForge. It's like under promise, over deliver. That's not how Elon rolls when it comes to, some of these initiatives. 30 seconds till the imbalances come out.
Okay. We gotta assess.
FXI, I see FXI now there for 1.3 million sell. The early look on Walmart's 1.3 million sell. Snapchat's still 2 million to the sell side, although that MSTZ is no longer there anymore on the Amex. So look, we're watching out for potentially on a day where NVIDIA had that big of a move, you could see an imbalance. Apple's been pretty strong. I wouldn't be surprised if Apple had an imbalance. We don't really know. We'll see what comes out. I have Apple up here. I have NVIDIA up just to see what happens. All right, imbalances should be out now. BAC, but who cares about BAC 3.5? Cisco is 2 million to the buy side.
Are you kidding me?
NVIDIA is only 1 million to buy. Amazon 1 million to buy.
Yeah, we're out of cement.
What else do we have? That's over 1 million. That's pretty much it. Amazon, NVIDIA 1.2 million each. Cisco 2 million to the buy side,
Tesla
and then BAC out of nowhere. Tesla again. They did this.
The Tesla long is absolutely huge.
This is what happened on Friday.
It is what it is, man. I mean, damn you, Tesla, honestly. That's too bad. Huge move up. We had this the whole time. We had this all afternoon, is what it is. We'll be flat now on Amazon.
Green.
We were lucky enough that this came out of buy, so we're going to get out now. We're taking 30 cents. We lost 30 cents one way. This is going to be, again, another wash trade, a flat trade. I should just say flat. Again, just flat on this. Well, we'll get it out. Hopefully, we'll be able to make some money. We already got some out at 35, 36 there. We're going to get some more out at 30s if we're able to, as Amazon comes out of buy, and then that's what happens, right? So we've talked about this a couple times, what to expect here when the imbalances come one way. Let me just show them to you again, just to see, because I didn't look at them all. I just saw Amazon there, 1 million. We've seen this. If it stays 1 million at 355, then you'll rip. It could turn around the other way. Tesla, I don't know if you saw it on here. I don't, but it's still ripping up. Robinhood, again, under 40, dangerous, but I like it above. SMCI, just quickly, I got to go to Adara. SMCI also selling down now as well. So that's near the bottom. SMCI flat, actually up 1% still on the day. What's up, Adara?
So I wanted to get some more details here on that Model Q story for context. So basically what happened was here, this started with a report from Deutsche Bank. They met here with Travis Axelrod, which is Tesla's head of investor relations, for its autonomous driving day in New York City on December 5th. Now, Deutsche Bank actually described the model as Model Q. This apparently is not the name that Tesla has chosen, but Deutsche Bank internally has called it Model Q. Apparently, according to Deutsche Bank, this model will launch in the first half of 2025. It'll cost under $30,000, but that's only if the EV credit remains. If the EV credit does not remain, it's going to be costing $37,499. So $37.5K is what it will cost if that EV credit does remain. And also, according to Deutsche Bank, it'll be built on Tesla's existing lines. Also, these reports are coming here out of out of China. So if there's some skepticism as well, or some suggestions that it's going to be a vehicle specific for China. So basically, a lot of mixed reports here. What we do know, or what the general consensus seems to be, is that this vehicle will be cheaper, and there is some speculation it'll be available in the first half of 2025. So that is my quick summary of all of the myriad reports we have here for that Tesla quote-unquote Model Q, guys. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara.
Thank you, Adara. And just a reminder, like on Friday, I mean, everyone sort of, if you were watching on Friday, you kind of saw what happened to Tesla going into the close. You know what, sometimes it should just be as simple as, hey, there was a program buying Tesla in the final hour of the day. Although this was distinctly different today, there's no question about it. But it is the same sort of, it's not the same strength, but it's the same type of very linear move that has nothing to do with what's going on in the overall market. It just didn't matter what was happening in the market. There was a buyer on Tesla. And again, here, it doesn't matter what's going on in the market. There's a buyer in Tesla. BAC is actually growing now. It was a 2.7 before the imbalances came out. It's now 3.5 million, which on BAC is interesting because it's at literally the low of the day, down 1.7% with a 3.5 million buy imbalance. So if some reason this were to stay a buy or grow at 355, you would have to think of an interesting long off the bottom. It's going to have this one up. At 355, usually a major pairing event, so I would suspect whatever these numbers are, you got TLT in here, Cisco. At 355, usually you see them dwindle. If BAC were to grow, I mean, you could literally be playing off the low of the day. So this is one I want to watch. And there hasn't really been any trades that I have loved since Mara, and I'm still feeling the same thing unless it's an imbalance play. And that BAC, pretty much the only one out there in terms of imbalances. Either you're long Tesla or you're looking for a 355 flip play as a day trader.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the next trade, is at 355. So we can see if that flips out. Amazon does come back in, by the way, just to talk about the last trade that we had. It does break that 226. So we just get out for flat there after making the money back a little, not all of it back, but some back there on Amazon as it continues to try to think about going a little bit higher there on Amazon. So, all right, that's that trade. So I have an SMH out here that I'm trying to sort of negotiate a little bit. It would be nice if we could get that fill. On Amazon, on SMH, down, if it breaks that, that's out. But what the fill I'm looking for is down here, 245.80. So on SMH, sorry, not on Amazon. So if we can get that fill, we'll take that 245.80. 245.70, I just put it at. Let's put it at 245.90. A little bit of a push back in. If we can get that fill, we'll take it. And then we'll just go from there. So good so far for us all over the place. So good little fill there on that name. I'm just getting some orders out to make sure we can capture.
Oh, wow. GameStop is dumping.
Is it? Okay, do you want to, you want to get over to the desk?
Yeah, I'm going to get up to the desk in just a quick second. I mean, BAC stayed. It didn't grow, so it wasn't huge. But before I get up to the desk, biggest volume candle since the open, I should say, not of the day, as GameStop has lost a bit. They report tomorrow night, everybody, and somebody is selling going into earnings. That said, it's still up if you look at that daily chart, but a bit of a flat bottom break. Could just be technical, losing the 28 bid here on GME, down 4 points now. Look at the acceleration to the downside. But you know what? Tesla is, it just went green.
Yep, unbelievable.
Yep. Okay, so it's holding. I mean, it's tight. It's obviously close back and forth, 389.22. You'd love to see it close above 390. There's a buy program in this stock. At the end of the day, it looks like once again, just a super strong day for Tesla at the end of the day here at least. But, you know, obviously should have looked for the long there. Probably, I could have stayed in Rivian, but that doesn't matter. I'm going to mosey on up to the desk. You have a lot of earnings. You have a lot of earnings names that are kind of low-key going to be huge. C3.AI we expect to be a big mover. Toll Brothers is going to be out there, MongoDB, and then, of course, the big one is Oracle. Software is a big deal these days. So I'll see you guys in a couple of minutes at the desk.
Yeah,
good luck going into the close.
Thanks.
I don't know if you have anything going on for Monday Night Football, but...
No, well, thankfully you beat the guy that I needed you to beat, so thank you very much.
Yo, I whooped his butt. He talks
Well,
smack.
the thing is like Josh Allen. I mean, the guy almost had, he had 6 touches.
This is the greatest game by a quarterback ever in fantasy.
It was, yeah, 55 points I saw in our pool. I think it was 51 or so in standard scoring or something for Josh Allen yesterday. What an animal that guy was. All right, and again, Buffalo Bills. Here we go. That's what we're talking about. Here's Josh Allen right here. Oh, he's coming undone. Oh no, Josh Allen getting naked on here a little bit there as this breaks, but that's our little guy right there. Okay, yeah, thanks for everybody for watching. You know, the show still goes on, and tomorrow it won't be with me. I am off tomorrow, so I say thank you to our good friend Obi that will be here holding the fort for me, and now for some reason my phone company is now phoning me with only 3 minutes left. Man, it's been an exciting day here today. So SMH, again, we'll shake our head at it, but at the end of the day, huge move to the downside. My number one stock right now today is SMH, and for good reason. We had just shorted it. We believed in that short. We were also shorting on NVIDIA. That turned out to be a decent out for us there on NVIDIA. Now it's come all the way back in, though. But we got out on that last little piece before bumping up. And again, we like that 140 short. If it can come in tomorrow, we'll probably do, well, not probably, we will do the same thing again there tomorrow on NVIDIA at 140 if it comes in. And then, look, if stories change, we can get out of it. So that's like the one thing that I don't want anybody to forget about when we trade. And that is that we have to trade with catalysts. Every single morning, you're going to find it. Our watch list is littered with ideas. We have the sticky note as well. Neil posts something. We're all over giving you guys as much information as we can and give you some ideas that we are looking at. So there goes NVIDIA at the end of the day. Let's see what Apple's doing at the end of the day. Days high. It looks like Apple wants to make new highs. Tesla right now today does go green. It looks like it'll end the day flat. Too bad, because Tesla broke 404. That's on tomorrow now, so that's good. We can get that break tomorrow with less than a minute to go. Now, the other name that people want to probably look at, AMD surging in the last couple minutes, up to 131. We have the NASDAQ down today, down 0.8. We have the ES down 0.6. Just a quick check on gold. Gold was up today. Bitcoin down. Bitcoin heading south right now. Sorry about all that to everybody, but Bitcoin is heading to the south side. Gold still up that 1%. IBIT, I think, down 5 points today. IBIT, yeah, down 5 and change percentage points to the downside right there as crypto does not hold, man. It's not holding. 96 and change. I'm sure Neil and Adair will probably go over this. Also, Michael Noss joining the crew there today. So we'll say hi to Michael, pre-hi to him, and he'll come with Neil and Adair in about 15 minutes or so. So join him as IBIT giving it up right now to that downside. Of course, we wait for Oracle. This is the only name tonight that I'm involved with. We'll see. I still think it takes down 200 right now with less than 10 seconds left. Thank you, everybody, for joining there today in what was a pretty roller coaster day that just ends up near the bottom. Of course, the close brought to you by Worksport, WKSP. Add Worksport to your watch list today. Thank you, Adara, for ringing that bell. That puts a bow on it. Hey, good day, good week overall. market downside. So those of you that are short today, hey, we talked about that with Raider. Good call on that one. Market gives it up a little bit today. The NASDAQ down that full point. ES down half a point. And that's about it, man. Tesla was the stock, I guess, that we didn't do our best on. We did our best on. Wow, there might be news on Tesla right now. Tesla just hit 394 in the after hours. Nice move there on TSLA. All right, are we ready to go? Yep, okay, then let's go there. Tesla rocking in the after hours. It probably was a big buy imbalance, but there it goes, a nice rally up. All right, let's go back over to the desk right now. It's the recap show. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Bears vs. Bulls. See you tomorrow.
Thank you very much, Sean. And yeah, Tesla hitting, like it's just the program buy in the afternoon is back on Tesla for the second day in a row, gets bought up into the close. It closes green. What an unbelievable reversal. Reversal of the reversal, or I guess it's the reversion of the reversion, as Obi likes to say there on Tesla, because it wasn't a failed break at 400. It was a great breakout at 400 to 405, and then it was a fail underneath 400 after the fact. But closing in the green, to be able to do that, I think is incredibly impressive. There's a host of things that obviously we got to look for. We've got Oracle reporting at 405. We're expecting C3.AI is expected at 405. MongoDB is expected at 405. We have Toll Brothers not until 4:30. So Toll Brothers will actually come out as we are wrapping things up. But a lot of earnings to get through Adara. The market was down and we closed at the lows. But it is worth pointing out two things that were strong. China, FXI, 8% on the day, holding on to gains. Alibaba was strong. NEO was strong. Across the board, they were super strong. And something we didn't mention that gold was strong and had a good day up 1 point. We didn't say anything about the solar names, which TAN up 4% despite a hefty pullback. But here's a couple of things that were not looking good and weaker than the overall market. Uranium down. Big 4% move down. It's lost. URA's lost a 50 period, maybe headed down to a 200 period moving average. That is worth watching. That's been a good level on URA. And then the financials caught a bit of a downturn, down over 1 1/3 points. And you're going to see closing at the lows, the XLF here on the day. So weekday for the financials, what has been an upward move. Look at them ride the 50 period. That could come into play for a little bit of a test. But Adara, we've got lots of earnings to cover. Oracle is obviously a big one. It just recently made an all-time high, but a bit of a pullback day for it as we expect some big earnings coming through.
Yeah, Oracle, MongoDB, we're going to get also PL and AI. Those are all going to come at 405, but then at 430, we're going to be getting Toll Brothers, TOL. So keep an eye on all these names. I did not find anything here with regards to that Tesla move, but I do have a story on Intuit, INTU. Here, apparently, Amazon and Intuit just announced a strategic partnership. So QuickBooks, which is INTU's entity, is going to become Amazon's preferred partner for financial management. Whoa. And they're going to start rolling out capabilities together in mid-2025. So AMZN and INTU partnership here. I'm going to pull up the INTU chart for everybody. Definitely look at this. Oh, wow, this is a chopping tail candle. We come into previous resistance here, going back to Friday at 652, then pull back all the way to 648. Do we have any earnings coming in?
No, Bitcoin's making a move to the downside. We just tagged 95 on BTC. We're losing the bid here in the aftermarket. Sorry, I didn't have my Binance up the way I would usually have it at the desk. But now all the way down to 95 on Bitcoin. Look, pull up an hour, and you're going to see we were chilling out in the 97, 98 range, and you're seeing a little bit of a dip in the aftermarket. The last time there was a flash crash-ish, it bounced at 92, so keep an eye on that if you are tracking BTC. Obviously, been a volatile kind of day, and all of those crypto-related names took it on the proverbial chin, or like maybe not all of them, but at least every single one that I was looking at. You saw Coinbase down double digits. It's at the lows, breaking down underneath 310. MSTR, which had been under a lot of pressure, closed at the lows, down 8%. So it also fell. We have all three earnings coming very rapidly here. It's going to be C3.AI. It's going to be AAPL as well. I feel as if, obviously, Oracle is the biggest company. That's the one we're going to watch first. There was just a move down in Oracle that tracked $3, but the earnings are not out yet as far as I know. I just heard some clapping in the back. I don't know if that's related to any earnings. But, oh, there's Oracle now. Oracle just dropped $10 here down into $181. We are yeah, it's got to be out here. Obviously, we're expecting a 9% move. So if this were to get down to about 170 lows, that would be that kind of a move there that was expected. But Oracle is out there. It has to be out there now to the downside. Looking nasty. But C3.AI the other direction. C3.AI is up double digits, up 13%. Oracle down, AI up. Dara, what are the numbers here if we have any?
So all of these here, we're still getting we're right now, I just have the official reports to read through, so I always want to give this caveat. Okay, never mind, we do have the official Benzinga summary out, perfect. So they did miss here in adjusted earnings per share, $1.47 versus $1.48 expected. That's going to be a miss. And it's worth noting here, according to their report, on a GAAP basis, they missed even more, $1.10 per share. So just to clarify, they missed on earnings per share. What about sales? That would also be a miss. 14.059 billion versus 14.113 billion expected. Now let's move on over to our friends at AI, which does have a pretty significant short float here. They beat on both metrics, so losses of 6 cents per share, that is smaller than the expected loss of 16 cents per share. What about sales? That would be a beat. 94.34 million versus 91.02 million expected. So C3.AI missing. Does it going to be, or sorry, double beat for C3.AI, double miss for ORCL, but I'm going to continue combing through both reports, and if I see anything of note there, I will let you know. Let's see if we have MongoDB here.
MongoDB looks like it just came out as well.
Yeah, we have them as well.
Yeah, Mongo just made a move upside. It just tagged 390, double digits to the upside on MongoDB. This is really, it's actually continuing to catch a bid here up at 390. It looks like, I just saw that they beat on sales, but in line on EPS. Going to be interesting the guides that we get from some of these names in here. Oracle better pray they had some good guidance if they're even coming out with that guidance. But Mongo with a big move up, 6% short float for MDB, which is pretty decent for a larger company. Adara, we have the numbers 2 for 3 so far.
They actually beat for MDB on both metrics from what I'm seeing, because there's sometimes different EPS metrics. So for Q3 2025, I guess they're a year ahead here in the fiscal calendar. They did report adjusted earnings of $1.16 per share. That is well above estimates of 69 cents per share. So $1.16 versus 69 expected. Sales of $529.4 million versus estimates of $497.758 million. So quite the beat for MongoDB, and also nice increases here on a year-over-year basis. 22% year-over-year increase in revenue, 22% increase in subscription revenue, services revenue up 18% year-over-year. They did have a slight decrease in gross margin on a year-over-year basis by 1%, but honestly, that's a stellar report. If that's their only issue, that is not a bad look. It's not NVIDIA, MongoDB. It doesn't have to beat on every single subsect of every metric. These are pretty strong numbers from what I'm seeing.
Well, it's better than missing on the top and bottom like Oracle. I mean, basically, Oracle missed out like the Jays missed out on Juan Soto, or like anybody misses out trying to tackle Josh Allen, or like the Buffalo Bills coach misses out on any semblance of common sense when it comes to play clock management. But just pointing out MDB here, this is a great hold. If it can hold 380, look at the daily chart. This is like a secondary break. It's a big gap fill that it just put into 380. When the expected move is 14.5%, it's just under that. It's going to need to hold on to this 380 area that you see on the daily chart. That's worth watching. But Oracle continues its flush. Now down to 172, it just tagged, and continuing lower. I think this is getting a little bit nasty here in Oracle, but it's still within the range of the expected move, down 9.5%, almost 10%. It was an expected move of 9%. We've got Planet Labs as well here, Adara. Yikes. Well, it was supposed to be a big move on Planet Labs, and gravity is taking this one into the depths of you-know-what. Implied move of 30%. It's down 23%. But you know what you're getting. It's a $3 stock. It's a $3 stock for a reason. Planet Labs taking it on the chin, down 20% down here. And Charlie Taft just put in the chat news on Tesla.
I'm not seeing anything.
Not seeing anything. But remember, like Tesla caught a monster bid on Friday going into the close, and then caught another big bid. Like this was Friday on Tesla at the end of the day. Like it just caught a huge bid, buy program galore, and continued into the aftermarket. So all it seems like is Tesla catches the buy program going into the close and continuation after the close. So no, outside of the news story this morning about our Model Q, the Model Q supposedly coming out sometime mid next year, Tesla just continuing that trend of being bought up going into and after the close. Super strong day there for Tesla. The ability to fill in that gap, be the weakest stock this morning, and then turn out to end up green. I think that's a great close there for Tesla. Unfortunately, it's the earnings names. Depending on what you like, if you liked Oracle, you got to try to keep things, I think, in perspective. Yes, you're down 10%, but it was just trading at fresh highs. You've now pulled back under the 50 period. Pullbacks sometimes are going to happen. These guys were trading before earnings. There were 49 times. Forward PE was 26, and they just put in a miss, right? So they missed top and bottom there on Oracle. But as said, C3.AI, Adara, that if we're looking for a continuation, they've got the big short float, the 20% short float. It just pulled back into, I guess, the mid 45 range. This is one that has all kinds of opportunities to go, but sometimes you want to zoom it out a bit further. Zoom it out a bit further. It needs to break $50. If this gets to $50 on C3.AI, I really think that bad boy could fly here in C3.AI. Do we get the guidance on Oracle, or did I miss it?
I am going to look for that in a second. I just really quickly want to go over Planet Labs. Apparently, they had a record quarterly revenue here of $61.3 million, but that still missed estimates of $62.96 million. Then they recorded losses of 5 cents per share, so that did beat on a non-GAAP basis of negative 2 cents per share, but it missed on a GAAP basis here, 7 cents per share. So kind of mixed report there coming from Planet Labs. ORCL, I am still not seeing guidance on Oracle. As always, if you guys have any earnings that you're seeing that you either missed or you want to know if there's any other info on them, let me know in the chat. I will do my very best to tag you with those earnings numbers as I can. So let me know if we missed anything. C3.AI double beat. We had a double beat for MongoDB and ORCL here with a double miss. Yeah, that's kind of my quick summary rundown.
There you go, and that's what it's all about. Got to go over to what is moving. And just another quick look. There's a little bit of a bid coming in on Oracle down in the low 170s, getting it back up to 175, but you're still under pressure. It's an inside move in terms of the expected move. So I think that this level down here in the low 170s is what you want to watch. We always talk about this, but I usually, I like it better when you get a good bounce off that area. If 9% is the expected move, sometimes you like it to make a real bounce. We've seen that in the aftermarket show so many times where you get down, if the expected move's 10% or 9%, it hits that level, we get a bounce halfway back. There is not a lot of buying up here at those, or down here at this level. Ska Cali is Toll Brothers today or tomorrow. Toll Brothers doesn't report till we're expecting 4:30. Mm-hmm. So if it's out, it would be early. There is some movement aftermarket. Sometimes you get people with fat fingers, or just you get people gambling going into earnings, or they just punch in accidentally. So there is some movement aftermarket, but they don't report until 4:30 there on Toll Brothers. We are expecting to have our good friend Michael Noss come through. He is ready. So look at that. A couple minutes early, because that's how we roll. Let's get some trader talk going with the Noss Boss. Michael, welcome. First things first, I want to say we were talking about the news, and all I can say is moving on to bigger and better, my friend. And I already see that you probably have some things you want to talk to us about here for that change. Big shout out to you for keeping the trading going. And I know we're going to talk about some crazy movers, but there was just, and I know you're going to talk about some movers in there, but there was just a bit of a mini flash crash on crypto. Not a flash crash, but a big pullback at the end of the day. And I'm curious what your thoughts are, because you were talking about some of those little meme coins in there. And I want to know how you deal with these mini flash crashes if you were looking at those memes. I'm assuming hard stops all the time, because Bitcoin just went like 3K to the downside right at the end of the day there.
Yeah, and that's pretty characteristic of Bitcoin. You have to use stops because it's a 24-hour market. It's a pretty wild market out there. And yeah, like I was mentioning this morning, this $100,000 mark, I know everybody was hoping that this would be clean. It would consolidate for a bit and then break and then keep going to 120, 130. Generally speaking, not what I expect to see, just because when you have everybody in the world watching a price pattern. You could even see when it had this cup and handle a while back. If everybody in the world is watching the same thing, then you have all of these conflicting interests of, hey, I'm going to buy it when it breaks 100K. And someone says, well, I'm going to get out of my position when it breaks 100K. And I think you have a lot of these conflicting interests going on right now. So for me, I liquidated most of my crypto positions on this 100K break. And I'm just kind of waiting because I expect to see a fair amount of this. I think you're going to wake up one day and it's either going to be at 80 or it's going to be at 120. But as soon as it gets away from that level, I think you can start analyzing it again. But the one thing that I want to kind of really remind people is that people think that Bitcoin is something that moves a lot. But really, if you go back and you just look at the chart here, it has long periods of time where it does absolutely nothing, and then has a couple weeks of absolute monster moves, and then long periods of time of absolute nothing. And the one thing that I think can hurt traders more than anything is if they start to try to trade during these choppy times. So unless you're trading on like an intraday chart or you have some sort of intraday strategy on Bitcoin, for me, when we start to enter these choppy periods of time, I have trained myself to kind of sit on my hands and sit out and know that there's money to be made when this thing's moved, and there's a lot of money to be lost when it's just chopping around.
Yeah, great point there, Michael, in terms of knowing when to trade. I mean, there's nothing, I've heard it described as the golden goose. If you can come into, if you're a day trader the day, or if you're a swing trader like that week or those couple of weeks, if you can understand the type of market that you're in, that can ultimately be half the battle. So a question I would ask with regards to that is, if you end up in one of those consolidation areas, or you think, okay, we're not going to have a lot of volatility, is there somewhere within the space that you think you can still find some opportunities? And we've seen MSTR, we've seen some of the miners do big movement when you're not moving that much in Bitcoin. Coinbase was 3x the move on Bitcoin today, if you look at it. We've seen that happen with Mara. And I would think that even if you're going sideways underneath 100,000, those types of names can still be dropping because of the lack of enthusiasm. Would you consider pivoting somewhere else in this case?
Well, this chart that I have open here is actually one that I'm watching pretty closely here. We'll go into a daily chart here. This doesn't move too much. Maybe if I do it the other way around. This is the Ethereum over Bitcoin chart. So it essentially just shows if this line's going up, it means Ethereum is outperforming Bitcoin. And if this line is going down, it means Bitcoin's outperforming Ethereum. And you see that Bitcoin had been outperforming Ethereum and by proxy, a lot of these Ethereum-based tokens for a very, very long time. That changed a little bit November 22nd or so. We had this big push up in this Ethereum over Bitcoin chart. To me, we talk about this all the time in the equity market, that people who made money from the AI play may take those profits and apply them to, I don't know, the Ozempic play or natural gas or whatever. They're taking the money they made and they're passing it down and around different areas of charts. Now, with Ethereum over Bitcoin, it could be the same thing, where you could see things that are starting to rotate and starting to cycle. So for me, again, I treat these as small speculative kind of internet stocks, just like anything else, where I don't really trust them. I want to be in and I want to, if I'm right, get my money and get out. So I'm looking at some of these meme coins, things that are holding up in this market. As funny as it is, right? Pepe did have this flash crash. It did the same type of move here that Bitcoin did, but it recovered very nicely. And Pepe coin is above this particular range. Dogecoin, again, as a academic and someone who worked with hedge funds in the long period of time, and a CMT and all this professional stuff, it does feel kind of weird to me to talk about Pepe and Doge and Fartcoin and all of these things. But if they're what's moving, then that's where I have to focus my time and attention.
Did I just hear you say Fartcoin?
Look at this chart. Look at this chart.
You know what? I looked it up today.
Tell me that's not a good-looking chart right there.
It's a good-looking chart. It was like a 300 million market cap on that one. And sort of here's the thing. And I know you're always looking at the technicals. There is a vast difference between something which is showing you a strong trading chart that you can participate in, and the Hawk coin that comes out and immediately like tanks, right? You're talking, and just for all the viewers out there, you're talking about things which have been around a little bit longer, that can show you some kind of a trend, that can give you indications as to where you want to get in and get out of, and then on top of that, have enough liquidity that you know that there are tradable vehicles, right? And I'm assuming, safe assumption, you're not talking about ever getting in on some kind of an ICO or buying something day 2 or day 3, Michael.
Exactly. And what I do is I outsource this analysis, and I wait for the coin to get picked up by reputable exchanges, Coinbase, Kraken, BitMEX, Bitfinance, and in any of these that are not that pump.fun website or anything crazy like that. And it's just my way to kind of outsource it. And some people, for example, when they're trading stocks, will only trade names that are in the Russell 3000 or something like that. Because what they're doing is they're outsourcing to that company, because to get in the Russell 3000, you need to be one of the 3,000 biggest stocks in the market. And you're kind of outsourcing a little bit of the fundamental analysis and saying, okay, well, at least this company is most likely not a scam. And I kind of do the same thing, where you're right. I want a period of time for it to exist. Pepe here launched in the beginning of 2024. So this thing's existed for a year. If you're one of those people who understand this, you could get into the tokenomics and see what's going on. I guess I watched CoffeeZilla's video on the Hawktua coin. It was pretty obvious that that was going to be a rug pull when it was launched. But if you don't want to do that, I think you just outsource that to an exchange. So if you're picking an exchange that has existed for a long period of time, that accepts you putting actual money in, has some sort of know your client rule, as opposed to some shady, off exchange where they only deal in crypto. I think that by that doing most of the work, it doesn't mean that the coin is going to go up or it's going to be a good trade, but you're just kind of outsourcing some of that quality filters.
Yeah, I think that's important, because we're always talking about managing risk. And, you can say that crypto has created some of the biggest wealth creation, but you have to look at the other side of it. You've got some rather large rug pulls. And when you're a trader, if you can't control your out or have a reasonable expectation as to what your risk is going to be, you can't get anywhere. So I have to ask you about something, because we're a trading show. We cover all things that move. Roaring Kitty was back last week with a tweet that I can't make heads or tails of, and there were a million interpretations. It was fun trying to figure out what it meant. GameStop does report tomorrow night. If we talk about things that rug pulled, not only did this pull a bit of a rug, it gave a rug pull right at the end of the day as well, Michael, hitting some fresh lows. So I think some shorts have probably won in the 30 range. What are your thoughts on this? Because the other side of the coin is it's still got a decent short float, and anything can happen, anything can squeeze. I'm always open-minded to this one breaking out, and I still believe if it can somehow get above 32, there's some shorts that have to cover. But once again, Warren Kitty, he didn't deliver when it was that cast. I know I lost money trading longs that day, and whatever that tweet meant or X post meant, it just hit some fresh lows here. Momentum-wise, do you see anything, or is this ship completely sailed as a squeeze play?
I think, and I'll anger some people, but I think the ship sailed. So I'm just annotating up the chart here. Every time he tweets, and every one of these kind of frowny faces I'm doing is a tweet that he's done, he has less and less power. And I think that's people losing faith and, more importantly, losing money. Most of these Wall Street bets types and things like that, they're trading options. So it's not like you or me where, he tweets, maybe we buy 1,000 shares and, maybe we're out $2 or $3 later and we're like, we lost a couple $100. A lot of these people, they're YOLOing into speculative options, and those options go to zero and they lose it all. That is one thing that I think is happening. The other thing that I think is happening is that if you're the kind of person, the kind of trader who really thinks that a retail company that has no reason to exist anymore, right? I play video games. You just download them online now. If you think this is going to be the next thing, you're probably also trading a lot of these meme coins. So there's other speculative assets for that kind of trader out there. So if they announce something on earnings, great, right? They have the cash now, and that's one thing that I've said is different from that to an AMC to any of these other names, is that GME has a lot of cash. If they were just to shut down all businesses right now, they could just turn into a hedge fund or something. They have so much cash, and that would probably be better overall. So they have options. I think the whole world is waiting for a Ryan Cohen to step up and say, this is my game plan to completely change this company, because I don't think it's ever going to be we're going to sell video games and little dolls and trinkets online and be a multi-billion-dollar company. I think a radical plan is needed, and I think that's what everyone's taking a bet on now. I don't think it's so much a short squeeze play anymore.
No, I actually get the sense that if they had pulled a Michael Saylor 6 months ago and started doing that, the stock would be at 50, would be in the stratosphere. But now you're getting to the tail end. We're already 100K, and the rumors that they might do something like that. Well, it's a kind of a tedious. It's a hard time to try to make that kind of a play. Before I know it's already 425 here, and when we're talking about squeezes, C3.AI almost hit $50. That's a 21% short float. Can you pull up? Just give me your thoughts on this thing, because it's the big earnings name today in terms of movement, 20% up. It's a big shorted kind of name, and it's got a massive little double top here at the $50 level. Any thoughts on this? I know you like looking for breaks, continuations, and trend. It's a super strong looking one. I'll be the first to tell you, and I say it every single time we mention C3.AI, I've never had somebody intelligently explain to me what it is that they do to make money, and then have me understand it. And that could be a me problem. I understand that. I might just not be smart enough when someone's giving me a good explanation on it. I think it's a trade, however, potentially. Any thoughts on C3.AI?
I'm right with you there. I think these things could be fast momentum type plays. I have the chart up here. You're right. This top up here at kind of 48, $50 a share. That's going to be resistance, and we've moved a long way from $25 to $50 a share, doubled to get to that point. If I was a betting man, tomorrow on the open, there might be some profit taking that gives way. But, fast forward a week or so and see if it's able to hold this $50 area and then punch through. That to me is pretty interesting. And with this, I got to say, you've got to look at the crypto space, even if you're not interested in trading crypto, because we know Bitcoin is very, very correlated with the speculative assets out there. People are buying kind of magic internet money when they're really, really risk on. So if Bitcoin's continuing to sell, and then you have this thing hitting resistance, I'd be a little bit less interested. But if you're starting to see those animal spirits go on, this to me is one of those names. Because you're right, I don't know how they make money in the AI space. I think a lot of their success is they just have the ticker AI. If you remember, what was it, Long Island blockchain back in the day? Good for them. But yeah, it's got to stick to landing above 50.
Yeah, and it's a very good point about like the whole risk on, risk off. Like when we had that risk on type of moment, that's when you want to be piling in. Like the fact that we did have that 98 to 95 pullback, my first thought is, well, if we go 95 to 92 overnight or tomorrow, that's not necessarily the moment that you want to be chasing high risk longs in the market. And there could be like a little bit of a flight to safety, maybe rotation into safer type things, which we should be looking out for. Michael, always fantastic to get your analysis. We look forward to it in the future. I know you got bigger and greener pastures for sure, and we appreciate you giving us all of your insights and hope to continue our positive relationship. We love you, Michael. And crypto is a play. It's a trade. I want to make sure everyone knows this. It's a trading opportunity, regardless of what you think of the underlying. And you've made some fantastic calls, including, of course, that Doge.
And I appreciate all that the Trader TV team has done to me. I'm sure we'll take a time to sit down and really explain what's up sometime. But your guys' support has been absolutely phenomenal. And I'm very, very thankful to you and your team.
Yeah, and we're thankful to have you around here, Michael. We just love getting great knowledge, and we love passing on that knowledge to our viewers. Michael Noss, the Noss boss himself. We'll talk to you on Friday. Have a fantastic week. Hopefully the weather is good there. I know we're getting a lot of snow here. I know how it gets out east.
It's nice and icy. It's that snow-rain mix that just makes everything super fun.
Yeah, we all love it. There's some more Trader Talk with the Noss boss, everybody. And there are my brothers out east in Halifax, where Michael is. When it snows there, you get, oh my goodness, like we get some here, it gets out of control over there. I do want to, let's recap some earnings for a bit. I want to go over some prices. Look, AI did get to 49, almost to $50 here. So that $50 level coming in, They did beat top bottom. The dog, I mean, Oracle is the dog today, unfortunately. It did catch, decent bid. Got up to back up to about 179 here before turning around. So that 9% expected move, we bounced off of that area, but down 7%, missing top and bottom. And then MD, it was Mongo, that was the other name to the upside, holding a great consolidation up double digits, 12.5% for Mongo. I mean, unfortunately, it wasn't everything good because you had PL, Planet Labs, heading to the downside. They're holding down about 13 points. I am half stalling because Toll Brothers seems like it's out right now. We knew they were at 430. Toll Brothers to the upside up 5.5%. Hey, this was Andrew Raider Trader, giving you Toll Brothers for a long opportunity and said this was good potential. So shout out to the Raider. It's up 4 points right now, pulling through 160. We're just going to get these numbers and we'll get into some roll call. Toll Brothers are out and to the upside.
So I have here earnings of $4.63 per diluted share. That is above estimates I'm seeing here of $4.30. I always like to clarify, sometimes we see different analyst estimates, so I'm just going based on what I'm seeing. Then we had revenue. Okay, so what I'm seeing here, I don't know if this is a different value. I'm seeing their home sales revenue. That's coming in here at $3.26 billion, which is up 10% year over year. I was seeing estimates of $3.16 billion, so it looks like they beat. It looks like they beat in revenue, but like I said, I'm unsure if home sales revenue and revenue are two different metrics. Sometimes you really never know. But expected move here of 6.3%. Yes, okay, so that was correct. It turns out that was the right number here. So they did beat on earnings per share, $4.63 versus $4.33 expected. Sales of $3.33 billion versus $3.17 billion expected. Great beat for Toll Brothers. I also want to clarify, Oracle, I did put this in the chat as well, but Oracle never gave quarterly guidance. They did say they're expecting $25 billion in cloud revenue for the fiscal year for the first time ever. So that would be their highest cloud revenue in the fiscal year. They're also set to have their best year from a stock performance perspective since 1999. So we'll have to see how this earning reaction goes because that could certainly muddy the waters here for ORCL. I don't know if they could foresee that drop there, Oracle, but yeah, I mean, that was quite the earnings miss, a little bit of an afternoon pun. Also, Eli Lilly. I want to mention Eli Lilly because we are actually coming into pre-market highs here. We get to pre-market highs of 828, then we drop. The catalyst was a $15 million buyback program and increasing their dividend by 15% for the first time, for the 7th quarter straight. So shout out to Eli Lilly. I think everyone knows what I'm going to be looking at tomorrow. But great look here for any long-term shareholders as well. Shout out.
I love some Eli Lilly. I'll take it. I'll eat it up all day. Pun absolutely intended on that one. I don't care what you say. Toll Brothers actually pulling back a little bit here. He did get the 160 now pulling back. But you know what time it is, everybody? It's 4:30. It's going to be roll call time. And if it's your first time here, welcome to the Trader TV Live family. In the aftermarket show, you want your name read rapid fashion and roll call by Adara, you got to join the chat, first of all. And if you want to be in the chat, you have to hit the subscribe button. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, get yourself in the chat. All you have to do is fire a message off, and Adara can try to read your name as fast as she can. That said, ideally, give a big shout out and a thank you to Michael Noss, our guest this morning and afternoon. Our great friend Michael, always dropping knowledge for us. Give a big shout out to our production crew on the ones and twos all by herself. As Fabian was off, was Ramin doing a fantastic job. Thank you so much, Ramin, for everything that you do. Thank Andre. Thank the Midday Bash Brothers, Sharif and Adara. Thank my main man, Sean Katina. Thank Brendan. Thank Adara. Obi, who will be on tomorrow. And make sure you thank Bears vs. Bulls, the best moderator in YouTube, period. So give that thanks. Put it in the chat. Roll call with Adara right about now.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Noss, Noss Boss. Noss is like, I had to make that reference there. We have Mike Breeze, we have TX Trader, we have LBM Photos, T-Man, Trey Only, Jonas Sapi, Rahu Shankar, we have Dude Rocks 420, I love that name, Twisted Rhythm, Kristen Norman, we got Tisha Perkins, we have Bears vs. Bulls. Thank you very much to Bears vs. Bulls. We have Runs with Bulls, which is a great name there as well. Frank Hanley, we have Bora Hout, we got Kelly White, Richard Cabeza, Chris, Raja, Dean, Stoyanov, Chill Till, Joseph Birch, Music, Michael P. We have Dwayne Walker. We have Butter Biscuit Head. We have Slug at 214, Philip Kelly, Crypto Trucker, Escape Planet, Dude. We have Video News. We got Blue Arrow, Scott Angel, TH, Lee Little, Kim M, Blue Arrow again here. We have Future Ready Video News again, Dale Joyner, Guardian Angel V, and we have Dale, Bigums, and a rise. We're going to stop there with a rise. I want to shout out Bears vs. Bulls. I want to shout out Ramin, who killed it, holding down the fort all on her own there.
Absolutely.
Shout out to Neil. Shout out to the Bash brothers there, Joe and Sharif. Got Sean. Tomorrow, we'll have Obi, so oh boy, it may be said or not. We don't know.
It'll probably be said.
Yeah, but anyways, thank you so much to our whole community. I love being here every single day, and I can't wait to see what tomorrow brings. So make sure you check us out.
And this one's for you, Dale Bigums. I'm going to tell you something you don't know about me, YouTube community. I like stocks. That's and if you don't know that joke, then make sure you find out about Chappelle's show, because it's the greatest show. Well, it's the greatest sketch show of all time. But you know what the greatest trading show is of all time? It's Trader TV Live. And the best part about it is we're here every single day that the market's open. That means tomorrow, rain, shine, market up, market down, crypto, Bitcoin 100,000, Bitcoin 90,000, we'll be back. And we'll be here to trade all the earnings names that you just saw and give our insights like you know we're going to be able to do. So enjoy that. Enjoy your night. Get some rest. Big day of trading tomorrow. We'll see you back at 8:30.
See ya.